Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the 72nd episode of Screaming Into the Void, where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and joining me today are Nummy Without You.
Hello. And you want me to do ASMR, you know what to do if you want to hear it loud and clear.
And Devil made me do it.
I won't do a
Sorry?
ASMR. I said I won't do a ASMR. I'm out.
Yeah, don't do the ASMR. That's weird and gross.
No. Now I'm gonna do the
It's weird
ASMR.
fetish stuff.
Just for you, Samuel, I'm gonna get my headsets right now. So I can do ASMR.
No,
So you can hear me
I
crunch
don't like
and
this.
crunch
I don't like where this is going. This is not
while
good.
I eat my popcorn that I made. My homemade popcorn. Made with coconut olive. No. Coconut oil.
Speaking of Speaking of women making sounds that are annoying, our good buddy Kenzo UK is well, he's a bit of a Taylor
He's a
Swift
woman?
fanatic. Knows all the words. Yeah, just a little bit. Anyway, so last night he said some things, and I posted it up on I clipped it and posted it up on Twitter, and tagged Taylor Swift herself, to let her know to give him some love. But yeah, this is the clip we're going to show here. Things are running really slow on StreamYard, so apologize if there's any lag on chat's end. But here we go.
I got tagged in 6 different Taylor Swift posts. Yeah.
Well,
I blame you guys.
hey,
No,
you did this to yourself. Yeah, exactly. You're the one that started singing Taylor Swift songs. Like, yeah.
All I did was defend my right to be a fan of certain music.
And we reserve the right to make fun of you.
And then you get called a Swifty and all these other slurs.
Swifty.
You know who he looks like? Kenzo.
Who?
He looks like like the third Iron Man. He's like the fake bad guy, like Magnolian guy that Ben Kingsley plays.
Ben Kingsley?
Yeah.
You mean the Mandarin?
Yeah, the Mandarin. That's what he looks like. Magnolian. It's both Asian, so I wasn't far off on that one. But yeah, that's what he reminds me of.
Did you guys see the part about his tattoo?
Interesting.
No.
I did, but I did not clip that because I did tell him I wasn't going to give him too much shit about that.
Yeah, the
So
story is.
I mean, it's all still up. I could.
Yeah, if you want to grab
ahead.
it.
I don't have the. Let's see. Yeah, let me see if I can find the clip in it because it was pretty early on in the stream, wasn't it?
I think so. I think it was pretty early.
All right, so let me see if I can find that real quick. Meantime, why don't you tell chat what this story is?
Okay, last week, after it was all over, because a lot of the funniest stuff happens backstage after the camera's off, Kenzo tells us that he has a tattoo, and it's of what's her name? Hannah Montana? No, it's not Hannah Montana.
No, Hillary Duff, I think.
Hillary
Yeah.
Duff's
Miley
character.
Cyrus?
No,
Miley
Hillary
Cyrus,
Duff.
Okay, Hillary Duff. That's Lizzie McGuire. Okay.
Yeah, Lizzie McGuire, that's the one. And what happened was he had some guy who owed him some money, and he said, "I'll do you a tattoo. I'm a good tattoo artist." So he's okay, I'll do it. He goes, I want a pretty girl's face on my side of my stomach, an attractive woman. So the guy goes, I guess, on the internet and looks up pretty girls, grabs a picture, puts it on his stomach. And so afterwards he says, "So who do you use? Let me see the picture." So he shows him the picture, and Kenzo ends up realizing that it's Hillary Duff's face. And so he's got Hillary Duff's face tattooed on his stomach.
That's pretty freaking awesome.
Okay, I think I found it. Yeah, he does. It's and then he decided he was first. Nobody told him he had to show it, except, well, no, I think Anna did, but he didn't have to listen to her. But yeah, this is I think about where that's at. Let me adjust something here. Oh, there's no voice.
He appreciates cultural differences in Western and
Derby appreciates his boy pussy. That's
Figs are actually pretty tasty.
oh no, Skirmitar. Wait, did you change that to Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
I think it looks like Charlie's doing.
Oh, I'm gonna bring that up.
No. Fuck,
You got it.
it's already on Twitter, man.
Yeah, this is where they show the fake one. The one Skirmitar made.
Well, yeah, he's looking at the one that Skirmitar made, but I think in just a second he gets up and he takes down the bare onesie so we can all see his tattoo.
Done. Okay.
Akira. Let's talk about Akira. Yeah, Akira.
Yeah, I
is
gotta
one of
see
the
it.
most
Let's talk about
incredible-
Kiro while we look at this.
Oh my god. No.
It's me. Hi.
All right, so
Kenzo, he knew.
Oh,
I'm on
okay,
Kenzo's
yeah.
body.
I got the wrong place there. That was after Skirmitar had changed the tattoo to Taylor Swift's face.
Yeah. But that's where it is. It's like his whole side of his right side of his stomach.
Yeah,
It looks like a worm,
kind of.
or like the head of a penis.
I'm trying.
It's a
I'm
literal
trying to figure
head.
out- Oh, okay. So I think it might have been closer to here.
Cats are part of
We'll
Back
find
Taco
out.
Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
know.
See,
Disgusting.
do you see what he's trying to do? It is a clear representation of Derby trying to hijack anything. He's going to try to hijack any groups to be like, please join my Back Taco army. And they're like, no, cats are pussy.
I watched Dermy's channel while because he had to go take a piss. So I was, I'll take over for a couple minutes while you go do that. And like the second he's gone, I'm like telling his chat how I want to kill him.
I would do the same thing.
Because he.
I'll be honest. I'm not 100% sure where that happened at in the episode there, Devil. But
Yeah, I think it was early, but I can't tell you exactly when. I know it was one of the first things we discussed was the tattoo, and we brought it up, but I can't remember exactly when we were talking about it. So
right, it was, but it was funny. I will say, just go over to Devil's channel, Beelzebub Hub. It's still up. It was a hilarious stream. Significantly more degenerate than just about everything on the internet, except perhaps for Ballbusters.
yeah, Ballbusters is hard to beat.
Ballbusters is definitely much worse. But this particular one wasn't too bad. Actually, you guys didn't really get into the weeds with like cannibalism and
I did bring up
a lightning brings up at all.
I did bring up a question of if you had the opportunity, who would you hunt and why? And
right,
the
Like
unfortunate thing,
Yes.
yeah, like hunt. And unfortunately, everyone chose Dermy, so it kind of didn't go very. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I thought it's going to have
See,
to be
I
like,
don't know
whoa.
Dermy well enough. Like group, the one to trip and fall, and like he'd be the sacrificial one to like really trip him over, and the zombies would get him, and then we'd run for it.
Yeah, it's all Dermy. Look there, paw, and run.
Thank you, Dermy, for dying for us. We'll remember you.
Yeah. See, you had brought up that question actually, I think the previous week too, because
Did I?
yeah. 'Cause you remember I had that whole thing about Jackie Joyner Kersey?
Oh shit. See, I try to remember to check all the when because I've made like a list of the questions, and sometimes I completely forget to check them off. And I was sitting there like, did I do this one? I don't think I did this one. But damn it.
No, it's fine. It turned out really funny. But yeah, I was in the chat. I was like, wait, didn't he ask me this question? And yeah, my selection was Jackie Joyner Kersey, the Olympian, the world-class runner, and mostly because it'd be a challenge, but because she's old now, not too much of a challenge.
She's not up for the challenge.
Poor girl, she goes there and like she's all like, why would you be doing this to me? Because I think you're like healthy game. Like she might be a little bit of a challenge, like not because you did something awful like Hitler, like I'll hunt Hitler, fuck him. But no, you're just all like, you can run fast, so guess what?
See, that's the thing. I don't think Hitler was particularly physically fit, man. So it'd be a bit like shooting fish in a barrel. What's the point if not the challenge, right? If not the hunt itself?
Because you want to hit Hitler.
You can do that too, but if you're gonna hunt somebody, I think that you should, hunt somebody who could. The whole point of hunting people is that they can hunt you back.
Yep.
Well, I don't think I would ever derive any fun from hunting humans. I think it would solely be to put the fear of God into somebody who I really wish would get that.
Well, you're missing the whole point of the hunt. It's a lot of fun, dude.
I know. It's supposed to be fun. No.
You're taking out a major threat.
Right. I do realize we're about 13 minutes into the episode, and I did kind of accidentally, not meaning to skip over saying hello to the chat, so let's do that real quick. Got Super Suka. Larry says he's first after Super Suka did. There's Kohai, who made the thing I showed you backstage that I am not 100% sure I want to show on my channel. So other people want to show it. If other people want to show it on their channels, that's one thing. But
Sam, play it on your channel. I want to see it.
Right. Here we go.
Hey.
Here we go. Thanks.
I am not gay.
Like Dick. I think Dick was fantastic.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
That one, yeah.
Yeah. That was clipped out of context. That's all I'm saying.
I just God.
We have Lou Castley in chat. Hello, Lou. Paul Dukin also. Real Wade Nation Gaming. Good to see you. Caucasian Sasquatch. Good dude. Boosh McFadden.
Boosh.
Yeah, a little bit, apparently. That's what it is. So it didn't break Nomi. No, that was not breaking Nomi. When Nomi breaks, you'll know.
You'll know if I break. Yeah. And I am actually in the mood to be broken, but nothing's come my way to really
clip
lose
that
myself.
statement.
Yeah. I'm in the mood to be broken.
No, Kohai, please don't do it.
She's ruthless.
I know she's ruthless.
But yeah. When you break Nomi, you gotta pick your moment. There are certain things that set her off, right?
And no one really knows.
Well, I mean, Sharks Roaring did it a couple of different times. Like, you imagine that scene in Jaws where it just pops out of the water a little bit and it goes, raw.
Roar! Oh, like, that was funny. It was just bad sound engineering.
Yeah. It was completely biologically inaccurate sound engineering.
Yes, definitely. But
Still
yeah,
funny.
Devil doesn't know me that well. But yeah, Devil, I laugh almost at anything and everything for like, how long would you say, Samuel? 5-10 minutes?
It depends on the thing, and it depends on if anybody says anything while you're laughing to make it worse.
That's true.
And it's so much fun because she'll go off camera because what happens is we end up putting her full screen for this shit because it makes it worse. So
It comes to the point where I can't breathe at all.
Yeah.
You have to like give her CPR because she's laughing so hard.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
like there's been times where I get a sharp pain in my side of how much I've been laughing.
Man. No,
Yeah.
I laugh for a long time. Like like you could hear it in that clip that we were playing of Beelzebub. I laugh a lot, and I'm like, I hate it because I don't like. I don't know. I think my laugh sucks, but I think most stuff about me sucks. So.
Well.
So you're a
I think,
professional
most of the
sucker.
people who stream
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, he did say that for like 250K,
Why do you have to bring that up?
I don't know you all that well, Devil. So I want to hear all the tea that Samuel has.
Okay, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it, but I said that I can't remember what we were talking about, but I think they said, what was it that precipitated it, dude? Do you remember?
I wasn't on that stream. It was either on Skinemax or it was on Ballbusters, and they were talking about how much it would take for a straight person such as yourself to suck a dick.
Yeah, and I said like it was $1 million. There's something about $1 million. Like, what would you do this for $1 million? I was all, this is like one, the stupid questions kid asked, like boys ask themselves on the playground. Would you suck a dick for $1 million? And when you're a kid, you're all like, hell no, I would never suck a dick. And then when you grow up and you realize how much $1 million is, you go, fuck yeah, I would suck that dick for $1 million. And I said, I would suck everyone's dick on this fucking panel for $1 million.
Wait. So you'll suck, like, say if there was like, man, I don't know, burly men, been hefty working, been out in the field. Say there's 10 of those guys for you to get that $1 million. You would do those 10 burly, hefty, super sweaty dudes.
Well, the panel was only 4, so I'd have to reconsider the amount I was charging. But I figured $250 a dick is that's like Kim Kardashian level of pay for a blowjob, man. I'm an expensive hooker at that point. But no, I don't know about 10 burly, hairy, sweaty dudes. Like, I don't know. But yes, if somebody said, would you suck my dick for $1 million? I'd be like, you're not going to enjoy it, but sure.
I mean, I don't know. Some men out there are weird. They probably will enjoy it. I don't know if you would enjoy it.
Well, if you enjoy some dude with a mustache and a beard crying while he's sucking your dick, then okay.
I mean, it gets to a point where it's like, look, it's $250K for the blowjob, but if you want no tears, that's extra.
Oh my gosh.
Real quick, because that kind of leans into kind of segues into this little thing. I wanted to show this on Abyssal Musings last night, but we never got around to it. And Amira came on, and so I think I don't know, that probably would have ended poorly. But this was an interaction that happened recently. I got this from It's a Gundam on the old Twit-Twats. Some of you may have seen this already. But just listen.
Step right around. Please. Step right around.
It's
that's
frozen
pretty
for
much
me.
the end of. Shit! Did StreamYard's fail on me?
Just to say, I don't know if it's me or it's you, but I think it's you.
Can you all hear me?
I can hear you. I couldn't hear that.
Can you hear us?
Okay.
Yeah, and Paul in the chat says
I can
it
now.
didn't play.
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't play, Samuel. Play it
It
again.
didn't play. Yeah. Okay. So I'm having a little bit of trouble. So we'll have to try this again. Play again, Sam. That's funny how that works out. All right. So let me know if you can hear anything.
Step right around. Please. Step right around.
You guys hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have anything on you that will poke me, stick me, or stab me, do you?
Maybe a penis.
Okay. I would prefer not to get poked, sticked, or stabbed by that.
Did you catch all of it that time?
Yeah. I love how she's all maybe a penis. What do you mean maybe? You either have one or you don't.
Dude,
you should know.
Trannies are getting good at hiding their stuff and definitely getting into their feminine voice. Like I have met some people who are like, I did not suspect that, but okay. They're gaining traction.
that was not so. I'll be honest. Like aside from the height, that surgeon did a really good job. So, but I appreciate the upfrontness about it, the honesty. I might poke you with my penis. And the dude just pauses. He's like, okay.
I don't want to be touched with that.
Stick me or stab me with that. Yeah.
No.
Where do you go from there? Like, I just be like, okay.
Well, where do you go from there? It's like, so the reason why I pulled you over is because you ran over my way of segueing now to that.
Jeremy would be like, yes, please.
So, there hasn't been a lot of like crazy news this week, which is good. That's good for the world. It's shit for streamers, but it's good for the world. But I did see that Canada is attempting to pass a bill that abolishes the right to private property, period.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I saw that too. What the heck, man?
Yeah, and I don't know too much beyond that. From what I understand, they're trying to word it in such a way that it will get around anything that could possibly block it.
Why do people put up with that? I mean, like, seriously, they're okay with their government doing that? Like,
well, they must be, because it keeps happening. They keep getting little freedoms stepped on here and there, and now they're turning into bigger freedoms. And when the right to private property goes, so does the right to personal sovereignty, which means that maid is no longer going to be a service that you go to. They're going to come to you as soon as you're not useful.
Yeah. And so it's their own fault because like I said, the populace of them have been allowing this. Like when they were suspending the truckers' accounts and stuff, the Freedom Convoy, and they're all like, well, they deserve it. And it's all like, you stupid asses, you do realize that once they're done taking and hurting people that you dislike, they're gonna come hurt you, you dumbasses. Like, it's not a zero-sum game. It's not, they're only always going to use that against my opposition. No, they use it against everybody.
That is a fact, and should their opponents get in power, they can be damn sure that they're going to turn around and use it against their opponents. It goes back and forth, and it just gets worse and worse and worse until society implodes.
Yeah.
For my Canadians out there, for any Canadians listening to this, take your fucking country back.
Yep.
You know, you guys keep letting this shit slide, and you will lose everything up to and including your lives and the lives of the people that you love. Period.
Freedom ain't free anymore.
Yep.
Everybody keeps cutting out from me. I'm gonna drop and come back in. Maybe it's my side of it.
I hear you perfectly fine. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it's not on your end. It might be mine.
Everybody sounds great.
Because Nomi's cutting out too.
Really?
And so I don't know if it's like that's why I was thinking it was maybe me because like both you guys are, but then you're hearing me, so I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you clear as day. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems to have cleared up for now on my end. But yeah, there was some choppage there, obviously with the footage we were just showing. But yeah, it was, with a little bit with Nomi's mic coming in and out, and I don't know if that was. I don't think that was on your end. I think that was just my shit running real fucking slow on this side. So.
Oh, so you guys can't hear me eating my popcorn?
No.
Thank God, no.
Okay. I need to try harder then. Let's see.
Oh, you're such a bitch.
You called me?
You heard me.
Did you say Samuel?
I said you're a bitch.
Huh.
Do you like that song? Have you heard that song?
What song?
You're a bitch, but I love you anyway.
No.
I do love me some Nomi. I do. But I hate this ASMR shit so much.
I mean, Samuel, I have a boyfriend.
Not like that.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, ASMR
I have a
gives me
girlfriend.
money.
Her name is Rosie Palm.
Wait, I can do a fun ASMR. Let me go get another can. Be right back.
Oh, God damn it. Am I the only one who thinks that ASMR is weird and gross?
Oh no, I'm with you. I like when you see those girls licking on that microphone, it sends chills down my spine. Like, ugh.
Yeah, but like the kind that make your toes curl and not in a good way.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the same feeling I get. Like I can't have like people touch my ear or talk in my ear too closely. Like people when they want to whisper in your ear. I don't like people that close, and it kind of sends that little shiver down your spine. And it kind of makes you feel uncomfortable.
It's
same
the
thing when I hear it.
act of cringing is what it is. Like it reminds me of when my sister was 11 years old belting out Mariah Carey tunes at the top of her tone deaf lungs.
I'm so in love.
Not helping.
You. Oh. Well, I know something else that can help out. Let me get myself. Hold on.
Oh no,
man! I don't look great because I would like to do this on camera.
Shadow, that's awesome. It's so disgusting. I need to watch hours of it to form an argument against it. I also need to pay for premium stuff to make sure it's not a quality issue.
I don't look good because I am going to get ready for a shift tonight. So I'm going to turn my camera on. Please excuse how janky looking I look. But I think it'd be great to show you like I call it my fun party trick.
What?
My fun party trick. So you get a can, it's unopened, and this is ASMR.
Holy fuck! What? Did you just open that with your teeth? What the fuck? I don't know what to do with that. For the record, Devil, this is what it looks like when nobody uses it.
Oh my god!
I wasn't expecting your response like that.
It was surprising.
Did you just open that with your teeth?
Yes, I did. Open it with my teeth.
Well,
yeah. So this is my fun party trick.
This little segment's going to make the rounds on the internet.
Yeah, that's what I like to show off to my friends.
Oh wow, that's yeah, that's something special. All right.
And thank you, Shadow, for dropping my my Cash App and my Venmo for ASMR.
You know, that's the in the bar when somebody orders a beer and it's in a bottle. She's the one who like bites the bottle cap off. But there you go.
Oh, that's easy. You'd use the back of your teeth to yeah, take out the twist top off.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'll show you guys like how I do a shotgun.
You know, one of our longtime panel members, Kat, the Java gamer, had kind of was supposed to shotgun like a Red Bull at one point, and she never did. Not on this show, on another panel on another channel, but yeah, there was some interest in seeing her do that because she had just learned what shotgunning was.
Oh my gosh,
so
we're westernizing her.
Oh man, I hate Red Bull.
Yeah, Red Bull is something else.
Yeah, Red Bull's banned in like 17 countries because it's fucking poison.
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah. Just not here, because we serve everybody poison here. It's poison all day. Like even if you don't smoke or drink or do illicit drugs or what have you, you're getting it in your food and your milk and your water.
Oh, you know what's scary, Samuel? Because like you just talking about that, I saw a video and it's like, I want to show you guys something when you guys order coffee from like when you get coffee from McDonald's or gas station coffee or any other coffee that has like the paper cup that you're drinking your hot beverage. So he got a cup of Drano, a clear glass, and he puts the cup inside. And
you're roboting a little bit.
How's this?
Better.
Okay. Excuse me, that was disgusting. Sorry.
Well,
guys.
Thanks for that, Brittany Vinci.
Sorry. So that's ASMR. So that was a burp. So that's like $50, guys. Anyway, so that cup that he puts in the cup of Drano, it starts dissolving. He's like, when you're drinking a hot beverage, all of that microplastics, all of that stuff is going into your body while you're drinking it. So not only that, there's Red Bull that's poison and it's in the aluminum cans. It's also in the cups when you're drinking coffee. So I have decided to bring my dishes everywhere so I can, not get more microplastics in me.
I heard of the microplastics with fish. Like they say that fish are filled with the microplastics, and so it's making them like people sick from eating too much of it or something. But I haven't heard about it getting in from drinks and stuff. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Well, like when you go and you buy something in a plastic bottle, right? And a lot of people will like carry it around with them all day, and the UV shit hits it hard. And if you let it get warm at all, basically the plastics that the bottle is made of leach into the liquid.
Oh,
Yeah.
yuck.
Yeah. Red Bulls are disgusting while I open a can of Coke with my bare teeth.
Yeah. Hopefully they clean that can. If you know what might have crawled around
Oh
on
no,
top of it.
that has been my fear since childhood. I always clean the tops of my cans before I take a drink.
Good on you. Yeah, because my cousin he'll straight drink and I'm all like, dude, wash the can first. Why? Because they have rats in those fucking factories that crawl around on the top of the cans.
Yeah, those warehouses, there's rats and all kinds of pests around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but excuse me, everything around us is filled with, the residue of an industrialized society.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, there's no getting away from it. I mean, there's particulates in the air. There's stuff in the water. Obviously, the things that we use to package stuff. I mean, plastic was a brilliant invention, and it was convenient for a century. And then we discovered that it's kind of slowly toxifying everything. Like real slow, but still slow enough that they're fast enough that we're now noticing the effects a little bit. I'm less concerned with microplastics myself because I have a diet that consists mainly of garbage and more garbage. You know,
Plastic on plastic.
I'm a bit of a goat that way. So yeah. But yeah, in general, it's not been great. That's one of the reasons that they want you to. It's weird too because you remember a couple years ago when they started putting out all those water bottles that were made of like certain kinds of like high grade aluminum and
PBF3, yeah.
that sort of thing. But the first several ones that they put out, you didn't actually want to drink out of because the metals they were using to coat the inside were toxic.
Oh, geez.
Everything's toxic.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's I don't know. Pick your poison, I guess, if you live in the States, because you're getting fucked one way or the other.
Man, that's that God. And it's the same thing with food. How many times do they sit down and say, "Oh, don't eat butter. Butter's bad for you." And then 4 years later they'll be like, "You should eat more butter. Butter's good for this, thing." And I remember eggs when I was a kid. "Oh, you don't want to eat too many eggs. The cholesterol, it'll kill you." And, and then now it's all like, "Oh, eggs are good for you." Same thing with whole milk. You weren't supposed to drink whole milk because it has so much fat to it. And now it turns out that like the good it does your body overweighs the fat content, so you shouldn't drink skim milk. You should drink whole milk.
Well, yeah, the skim milk. The only reason that worked at all because let's be honest, folks. Parks and Rec was absolutely correct when they said this: that skim milk is water that's lying about being milk.
Yep.
But it's part of the reason that they were able to get people to start drinking that stuff was when they were taking the fat cells out of it. They were replacing it with sugar.
Mm-hmm.
With refined sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Which goes all the way back to people talking about butter being bad for you. The biggest reason that sort of stuff came up was because the sugar companies were trying to make a profit. And so that what they did was they launched a slander campaign against their, other things, healthier things like butter, for example. And they took it to the Supreme Court. They took it to Congress. They did all kinds of lobbying. They ran ads. And by the 80s, everybody was eating sugar everything.
Man, I don't drink. I don't know how much sugar I take anymore because I use a lot of like the alternatives, but I don't know how good those are for you either. Because are those just as bad in 3-4 years? We're gonna find out that that's causing like cancer rates to spike in something. So it's I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also a growing sentiment that we shouldn't be drinking milk at all because, oh my gosh, it's not like cow milk is not formulated for human bodies, which is horseshit because people have been drinking cow milk for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked fine up until the last century. So I don't know what changed. It wasn't the milk, but or goat milk or yak milk or whatever milk, they're like, oh, you should only be drinking human breast milk. And I was like, all right, well, you're going to talk a bunch of women into, hooking themselves up to a factory. How do you think we're going to mass produce that?
I mean, there are machinery for women to be pumped to feed their offspring. But your own breast milk, I think that's like $20 a bag, in my opinion, because that's hard work.
Yeah, and it would be expensive as hell. And in order to mass produce it, we'd have to do some awfully fucked up things.
Yes.
And I'm not willing to do all that. Besides the fact that, we can drink cow milk just fine. The best way to drink it, Devil, is straight out of the cow. Honestly, like the healthiest way. Now it's a little bit like choking down a chunky soup, so it's kind of it's
also,
not fun.
Also, if you didn't grow up on milk like straight from the cow milk, it you can get sick from it if you're only used to pasteurized milk. I think that's the reason that Amish people aren't allowed to sell milk. They're legally not able to because there's something I can't remember what it's called, but if you drink milk straight from the cow and you're not used to it from childhood, it'll make you like really, really sick. Like could even kill you, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a risk that we all take. I mean, like one of the issues that faces us, like, should we decide to, as a people, clean up our food sources in this country, we're going to have serious problems if we start eating healthy right away. We have to wean ourselves off the poison because at this point we're adapted to the poison. Like it's kind of like when vegans quit eating meat, right? And then 5 years later they crave a hamburger and they go and they eat one and it makes them really fucking sick. Is that while they still require the protein that's in it, they've lost the ability to process it.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a thing that's built back up again. You can't just like dive face first into a pound of hamburger if you haven't had any red meat in 5 years. And for the rest of us, it's been a lot longer since we've had any kind of healthy food. That wasn't, packaged in plastics. It wasn't chock full of fucking preservatives and false colorings and flavorings and whatever else they see fit to throw in there. And I mean, I do this once a week. I go out and I try to have a steak, once a week, just because, so I get some real protein in me. But when I started doing that, it had been, for me, it was more of a financial issue. Meat's expensive, so it wasn't a common thing for me. So when I started making myself do it once a week to just make sure I got at least a little bit of protein in my body, I did have problems with it at first. It took several months before I was able to enjoy steak and not shit my guts out 10 minutes later. But now I'm past that point and I can enjoy a steak and be okay. And I process it and I can get more out of it than I was able to, which is good.
Man, I've never had a problem with it, but I've always not necessarily eaten steak, but I've always had some sort of meat. But yeah, no, that's weird. I do know people who have had that problem though. There was this girl, I can't remember her name, used to hang out in the group that I was in, and she, not because she had some moral a thing against it, but had always just been a vegetarian. And one day at school, she just decided she wanted to eat meat, so she took some of our food because we had off-campus lunches where I was for high school, and ate it. And god damn, she turned green. She threw up. She ended up having to go home like 2 hours later after like being in the bathroom just throwing up forever. So but I've never had to deal with that.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the only reason I even got to a point where it was an issue for me was being poor and, being poor and being prone to poor choices. Uh, and so I would live on things like ramen noodles for like 6 months at a fucking time. That wreaks havoc on your ability to digest real food.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can live on ramen. You can, but it's not what I would call food.
But you can dress it up.
That's you can do that. Hey, Tris. One of my
I actually did that earlier this week. Dress up my ramen.
Something that you might be interested in trying if you never want to shit again is you take a couple of cans of that Hormel chili with beans and you cook that up in a sauce pot, right? And then you boil up 2 or 3 packages of ramen noodles, make them nice and soft. And honestly, you kind of probably want to break them up instead of letting them just be long noodles because, like I said, this will cause problems later. And then you mix them together.
You mix the what and the noodles and
the chili.
And the chili.
Yeah.
Like Cincinnati style, like.
Yeah, it was one of those things late night, we might have been,
style.
very, very high at the time.
Yeah.
But it was really good.
Cincinnati.
Go ahead, Devil. Go ahead.
I was saying Cincinnati, I think, is famous for they put spaghetti with a big old scoop of chili on it, white onion, and cheese. And that's how they eat their chili.
Ohio. I don't know. Ohio is something else. Ohio is definitely not U.S. I lived in what's that town called?
It's right in the middle of you.
What's that town?
It's like
called?
in the center.
I lived in Sandusky, and that town was weird as hell, dude. I didn't.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
Well, it was something that we came up with back in my younger days when we were less, how do I put this, sober. You get those cravings for food in the middle of the night, and you'd get these bright ideas, and sometimes they'd work out, and sometimes they really didn't. This was one of those times it worked out. It was a delicious meal. It fed everybody. We were all full. The only drawback was that we stayed full for a week.
Mm-hmm. There was one year where I had like bad insomnia for like a month or two, and at 2:30 in the morning, it's like I really, really want like the like salsa and hot Cheetos and like a Gatorade, but where am I? But in the area that I grew up in, still kind of live in, there are gas stations everywhere that sells burritos when it's made to order. So drove myself to the nearest 24-hour gas station, got myself my desired burrito with hot Cheetos and a Gatorade. And there I am sitting in the parking lot of some sketchy truck stop gas station. I think that was at 3:30 now when I got that. It was probably like my best moment in life where I was actually happy. And I went home and then I fell asleep.
Conan, what is best in life? Hot Cheetos and Gatorade, and to hear the lamentations of the women.
Driven before you.
That's how you can get me. Just letting you know.
Right. Clue is rewriting Careless Whisper, it looks like. And I'm never gonna shit again. Guilty meat has got no nutrition. That's yeah, I like that. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. There are different things that you can do. Like a buddy of mine used to do this thing that he called midnight fajitas. It's pretty much what it sounds like. He'd make fajitas at midnight, but they'd always have some random ingredient, whatever he had at hand, and they always turned out amazing. Which of course we thought was probably better than they actually were on account of, again, the aforementioned not being sober at all.
I always have, because I'm on a diet, and I know that like any like dietitian would say this is completely stupid, but it's been working. I don't eat pretty much the entire day till night. I guess it's like the fasting idea of it. So I have dinner about 7 or 8. And then so I end up having my late dinner pretty much at midnight, around there. And I've gone on that because of the streaming schedule. Can't usually streaming it from 8 to 10, 11. So I usually eat about 12. And so my late dinner as of late has been consisting of me throwing a cup of dirty rice or half a cup in a skillet and then putting some scrambled eggs on it. And that's been my dinner for about a week.
That's not the worst thing. It could be worse. Let me introduce you to something that I invented years ago that I call not an omelet. Because there's eggs in it, but it's not an omelet. So basically, this was back when I was in my early 20s and I was staying with my mom to help her out with the bills and save money and all that stuff. And she had to go out of town for a few days, and I didn't have any cash with me at the time, and so I was just, had what was available in the house to eat. And as it turns out, it was a bunch of random things that needed to be prepared. And I'm not a cook. I'm not a good cook. I'm not even like I'm not a cook. It's not a thing, that's a skill for me. So I went digging around and found everything that I could find that could potentially be a meal. And that consisted of a pound of ground chuck hamburger, right? Half carton of eggs. There was a bunch of spices, some barbecue sauce, some ketchup, applesauce, and instant mashed potatoes. And that's what we had in the house. So I took the ground chuck and I fried it up, and I, like from frozen, you just browned it and all that stuff. But as I did that, I scrambled 3 or 4 eggs into the meat so that it would get scrambled, but it kind of like marbled the meat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And and I had some Velveeta. So I melted some Velveeta in with this as well. Threw whatever random spices I had. I don't even remember what it is. I've made this a dozen times now, and each time it's different because it depends on what I have on hand. One time I used breakfast sausage. That turned out really well. And then I just start dumping sauces in, like ketchup, barbecue sauce, Worcestershire if I've got it, just like whatever I have on hand. And it sounds like an awful, awful thing. I know it does. I also don't drain the grease out of it. So it's like a heart attack in a skillet. And then I'll spoon up about a third of that onto a plate, put it next to a big helping of instant mashed potatoes and another big helping of applesauce, and it made a meal. And I call that not an omelet. And it's the most ghetto bachelor shit ever, and it's delicious and it's filling. But if you got high cholesterol, it might kill you.
Yep. And this is what Sam makes for his dates when they come over to eat.
Shit, I got to be in love with you before I cook for you.
How do you like your food? She's all like, damn, look at the time. Holy shit, I gotta go.
Yeah. No, they'll like the food a lot better at the beginning because I'll order out. I have it professionally made.
I don't. Good.
I feel like a heart attack coming on just listening to this.
I don't want everyone to get the idea that I don't know how to cook with my dirty rice and scrambled eggs. I'm actually a really good cook. It's just sometimes you just don't want to have to put stuff together. And so, like I said, I had a big batch of dirty rice I made. I don't make it with chicken gizzards or anything like that. It's not anyone could eat it. But yeah, and so I've been eating that. I just don't want everyone to go, dude, learn to cook. I know how to cook.
Yeah. His date will be like, I love cardiac arrest, babe. I was like, no, my date will be like, so the money's on the dresser, right? It's not feeding her. She's got money. She can go buy herself a damn meal.
What about you, Nomi? What do you like to cook? Your crazy recipes?
I think she stepped away from the mic for a minute.
Oh.
But I do think the roboting. Now that we've given it a minute, I think that it was on her end.
Mm. Maybe that's what she's mic'd up to fix. Maybe she's plugging stuff ins, unplugins. Yeah.
Plug in, unplug in, plug it again. I don't know. I felt like there was a song there, and I was wrong.
You just have to work harder at it, Sam.
Right. So how is it that like the last several streams, well, I say the last several, I haven't watched Ballbusters this week yet. But last night's Beelzebub and today the conversation has trended to food.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know why. Cause yeah, you're right. We have been talking a lot about it. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm on a diet, so like subliminally, I'm like food.
You're like, God, I'm starving.
But
where are my saturated fats and my refined sugars?
I'd kill for a cheeseburger. No, I don't know, but yeah, you are right. That's some reason we've been talking about food. Yeah, they were teasing me after the show was over in our little chat group about that. They're all like, so when is BL's a chef gonna start up? Like when's your new show and shit? Because I gave the recipe. And yeah, I'm all like, geez, it's not like this is a reoccurring thing that I've been doing every week. I tell people a recipe. It's I just brought it up because everyone was shitting on fucking stroganoff. God damn it.
I love stroganoff. I don't know what the problem is. Stroganoff's great. My ex-wife makes the best beef stroganoff I have ever had in my fucking life.
Yeah, and they gave me shit because I brought up Paula Deen's, I'm all like, motherfucker, she puts like 3 sticks of butter in it. Like you said, it's a heart attack, but it tastes really good.
Yeah.
And so that's always why I'm bringing it up. But I do mine completely different from that. Like, that's good, but I do mine a little different.
So do you use cream of mushroom?
No, no
Really?
cream of soups. I said it yesterday. I either do steak or hamburger. Hamburger if it's cheaper, if I can get it real cheap, it's just why not use it. Brown that in a pan. Throw in 2 cups if you're doing just a single serving, like a single thing. 2 cans of broth, beef broth. Let it reduce till and a tablespoon. I usually do more like a tablespoon and a half of Dijon mustard, and then you let that boil down to essentially become like a beef demi-glace. Then you take it off the heat. You can add mushrooms and onions and cook them if you want them in there. Some of my family hates them, so I usually do without them just for that purpose. Take it off the heat and then add in sour cream just till it's the right flavor for you. Some people like it more sour creamy. Some people like it more beefy. I tend to the beef side of it. And then you can put it over rice. You can put it over egg noodles. It's good over like just a piece of toast, like scooping it onto a piece of toast.
Yeah. That sounds delicious, actually. Shit, I don't know. Now I'm really hungry though. See, this is the problem about talking about food while you're live streaming, right? Especially if you live stream for hours at a time. Like, you know what I'm going to do after the stream? I'm going to walk my happy ass down to our local meat restaurant, and I call it that because if I were to say the name, it would fucking dox my location because there's only one of them. But at this place, you can get you get ribs, you get pork in it done up any way you want it, beef done up any way you want it, and they've got bison, they have kangaroo, they have camel, they've got python, they've got gator.
Jeez.
Without it being strictly legal, and this is usually only off the menu. Sometimes they have mountain lion.
God. I don't know if I'd want to eat mountain lion. I think I'd be interested in trying, I think I might have tried buffalo, but so I think bison's probably the same thing, right? Aren't they pretty close?
Well, buffalo is a misnomer. The American buffalo is extinct. The American bison is usually commonly referred to as buffalo. So yeah, when you're talking about that in the context of food, it's the same thing.
Okay, so yeah, I've had that just like once, I think. I wouldn't mind trying some of the other ones, like gator. I wouldn't mind trying gator. I don't know if I'd want to eat mountain lion.
I look at it like this, man. Would an apex predator hesitate to eat you?
No.
Then why should I hesitate to eat him? That's all I'm saying.
It makes sense, but still, cat. I don't know. It too close to the common house cat, and I won't eat that either. So
oh no, these are much more muscly. They're obviously they're still sinewy, but they're not like sinewy like house cats. I mean, yeah, you can eat a house cat, but there's not a lot of meat to work with there. Whereas with a mountain lion, just look at the damn things. They exude power from their muscles. There's tons of meat on those things. And they're fed on the finest grass-fed antelope.
Well, the problem you have is usually muscles that get more use tend to be tougher. Mm-hmm. Because they're more dense, they're more, so that's why when you like take an animal apart meat wise, you'll see certain cuts of meat be tougher, usually because it's coming from a place that gets a lot of work on it, and you have to really work to soften it up. With that,
what are we talking about?
Eating mountain lions.
Oh, I never had mountain lion before. Why are you laughing?
And meat eating animals, their meat tends to be a lot more gamier and not as tasty. That's why I don't see like bear burgers and stuff that often, because most of those animals that eat other animals just don't taste as good as the ones that eat grass and plants and shit.
Gamey's not always a bad thing, though. Not always. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it gives that kind of like the meat sort of a natural spice that you would think wouldn't go very well with a lot of things. But like I was saying in chat last night, man, there's a I once was treated to a plate of spaghetti and meatballs, and the meat in the meatballs was moose,
Yum.
and it was so good. It complemented the marinara. It complemented the spices so well. It was the perfect meatball for spaghetti and meatballs. It was amazing, and moose is kind of a bit of a tough gamey meat itself, mostly because like I said in the chat last night, man. I believe that spice, what that actually is concentrated hatred, because moose are mean, but it works. It worked really well with that. Yeah, it just permeates their whole body down to the cellular level because they fucking hate everything.
The meatballs like fuck you.
Look, man, Kodiak grizzlies won't fuck with a moose, and they'll tear the side off your house to get at you. Yeah.
Yeah. Mooses are, I think they get a lot of people killed by moose up in Alaska every year. Like, I think they're like, it's like, to me, it's like the hippo. Hippo's the most dangerous animal in Africa, but anyone would probably say, oh, it's a lion. It's a hippo.
No, it's a hippo. Hippo kills more people than anything else in the land world.
So why I don't think the moose does the most killing up there. You just don't hear about it, but they do kill people because you get hit with those big ass fucking antlers, man. Those things are like being brained with a bat, They're solid.
Think
heavy.
about where they live, man. Canada and Alaska and all that shit. The reason you don't hear about it is because no one ever finds the bodies.
Nobody. Yeah, they kill them. The bear eats them
out there somewhere. Yeah.
They work together.
Have you ever known a bear to miss him to like waste food ever?
That's why That's why bears don't attack moose. They're like, you want to work together?
Yeah.
You brain them and I'll eat them.
No, it is kind of interesting. Like out where I live, we have these antelope that are known as pronghorns. They are the most vile tasting animal I have ever had, because they live their lives in a perpetual state of adrenaline fueled fear. Like all the time. They only rest twice a day, once at dusk, once at dawn. And if you catch them right at that moment, you got about a 5-minute window. If you shoot them then, they're a lot better. They're still not great, but the rest of that time, their system is so flooded with adrenaline that it taints everything.
Yeah, I've heard that when an animal's scared and it's killed, the meat's not near as good. So that's why you want to do like an ambush thing, like hunters. You don't want the deer to know you're there.
Right. Yeah, and but that's the thing about pronghorn antelope, is that it doesn't matter if they know you're there or not. They're constantly flooded with adrenaline. Their whole lives is basically this, except for the resting periods. And they're just, yeah, they're not good. You can live on them if you have to, but it would not be my first choice. I'd eat fucking sage grouse over that. For those of you who don't know what a sage grouse is, up here on the high plains, it's basically a tiny prairie chicken.
Oh, I thought you meant actual like grass. I was all like, I don't know if I'd want to eat grass.
Sorry, I meant grouse.
Grouse. Okay.
Yeah.
I was all like, holy crap. Meat can be nasty, but grass, ew. Yeah, I'll just pass on that meal.
Tris says capybara meat is a thing here. Where's the capybara? Is it South America or South Africa? I don't remember what part of the world that's in.
I think, isn't it African? Capybara?
Let us know in the chat if you would, Tris.
I'll be back. I gotta grab something.
What's he grabbing, ladies and gentlemen? What's Devil grabbing? No, but South America. Okay. Yeah, I thought it might have been South America. They're the ones with like the droopy noses, right? The real prehensile, but like still kind of short snout. No, I think
I'm here, so you can talk to me, Sam.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know what a capybara is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I correct in thinking that they're the ones with like the droopy prehensile snouts?
Yes.
You know, and they
Those
kind of
are
got those like teardrop shaped butts.
Yes, and they look like they're just, I don't know, content.
You are roboting out again. I think that might be on your end, Nomi.
Are you sure it's me?
Not 100%, but it's starting to seem like it. Yeah. I don't know. We can power through though.
Let me see what if I extend one. That should be good. I'm rearranging my little studio setup so I can be close.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that.
You didn't hear any of that?
I heard up to rearranging my studio close. Yeah, and then that's where it got.
Okay. How's this? How's this now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. What I was saying is that I'm rearranging my studio setup so I can be closer to my router.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's that's something I need to work on my own self. I'm attempting. So for those of you who don't know, I had a fairly significant life change a couple weeks ago and ended up moving. And so I'm in a new space and I'm still trying to figure out the dynamics and the acoustics and all that. So
Wow, I did not know that.
yeah, that's kind of why it sounds like I'm in a bit of a hollow room, is because I'm in a room with hardwood floors and nothing on the walls. So the sound bounces a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand sound bounces because that's just normal.
Yep. So I need to put some shit up on the walls to catch the sound. I don't know. I probably go get some soundproofing material or something. But I haven't done that yet, so that's why, my audio sounds a little funky.
We want funk. We want funk.
Yeah. They always sound perfect when you say, "Can you hear me?" That's true.
Good.
Studio foam. Thank you, Clue. That is something that I definitely need to look into because it'll help the sound keep from bouncing off the walls too much.
Yeah, they also have that plastic stuff that you see people use there, like it's like almost like those old washing things, where you used to scrub things against it, but it's like multicolored or like real bright colors. I think Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers had it on his wall at one time, like it was blue and black, and that's supposed to
I
be
know
good
what
for
you're talking about.
sound. Yeah, for sound dampening or whatever.
Yeah, because it changes the terrain and it changes the way that the sound moves.
Or you can redneck it and just get like a bunch of egg cartons.
Yeah. I was thinking
Staple
about
them to your
quilts. I was just gonna hang a bunch of quilts in here and see if that helped.
It look like a damn Amish,
right?
Surrounded by all these quilts.
Well, I'm never on camera, so who'd know but me?
Sam's quilting corner.
I am, I'm about as ghetto and as cheap as it gets sometimes. We used to do all kinds of stuff, like just make stuff. I had a buddy who had what he called his redneck katana. It's just a piece of rebar that's slightly bent.
So it had, unlike a normal katana, it can't cut anything. It could just beat you to death.
Oh yeah, but it could beat you to death real easy.
Oh yeah, rebar's heavy as shit.
And so what he did is he got this stuff, and I still don't know where it came from. I'm pretty sure he stole it from a laboratory somewhere, but it was this kind of molecular bonding rubber, basically. It's not exactly rubber, but it was sort of a rubber that when you apply it to something, it bonds on a molecular level and can never be removed. And so
Like
he used this,
the stuff they put in truck beds, like that
kind
stuff.
of, yeah, kind of. And so he wraps one end of it in that, right, and applies heat to it, which causes the bonding process to happen, and gave himself a grip.
I, I don't know if I'd want to use a weapon like that because even though one hit to the head, you're dead. I hate freaking things that are too heavy trying to swing them. It just makes them so clunky that like somebody could like you swing, you miss, the person's gonna be able to grab it, and then you're fighting over the weapon. And so I'd rather have like a short, just like like a foot long piece of rebar that's more like a small club than a long piece that's especially bent because the weight's gonna be off. Maybe I'm
Right.
getting too deep into the weapon like
No,
idea of it. Like,
not at all. So like that was a thing when I was younger. I was an amateur cage fighter, but along with that, I was also um, very much like most young nerds into edged weapons, particularly of a Far East bent kind of thing. And so we really got into that kind of thing. And we discussed this a little bit last night on Abyssal Musings, but we used to do a thing we called making fruit salads, where you'd take your sword or your blade or whatever it was that you had, and you'd stand at one end of the yard, and on the other end of the yard would be all your buddies with a bunch of fruit, and you'd try to cut the fruit out of the air before it hit you.
Like Fruit Ninja, but real
Yeah.
life.
Oh yeah, yeah, very much. We ended up with pieces of fucking fruit on the roof and all that we couldn't get to. We had crows hanging out, and it was bad. And eventually, you graduate to other things like tennis balls, which make less of a mess, but are also a challenge. And eventually, blocks of ice.
Man, wouldn't that dull the shit out of your blade though?
Well, it does if you
Hitting
don't take
ice?
care of them. Yeah, you can, like it does dull them. You do have to maintain the edges, but most of the time, it wasn't. So we'd get cheap blades, cheap weapons for the express purpose of practicing, and that way it didn't matter that much if they got too damaged because they were easily replaceable. The expensive stuff we didn't really bring out for that because you couldn't really replace that on a moment's notice.
Yeah.
So I have this $30 katana that came shipped in pieces so that I learned how to uh, put it together and take it apart myself for maintenance. Um, and the sword, the blade itself has a bit of an S curve in it now
Mhm.
that it didn't have before because it's been bent and rebent into place so many times. Amazingly tough for a $30 weapon, but I broke the grip in half, and so I repaired it with
Mhm.
Gorilla Glue, a couple of steel dowels, and a couple of steel plates, and then I rewrapped the handle in what it came wrapped in originally. Problem is that made it about twice as thick as it originally was, so I ended up having to staple the wrap down in place, and it threw the balance off entirely because all of that fucking steel made it way more on the other end, so it feels like the blade weighs nothing.
Yeah. Like here where I was used to live, uh we had a swap me. It was a sale yard essentially, and so you could always get like cheap, like you're saying, cheap ass blades of all different types there. I still have a couple of them. Like I have this one cleaver one that like the balance is so janky that it would be ridiculous to try to actually like take somebody on with it.
Mhm.
But goddamn, if this thing hit an arm, it would take it off. It's literally like if you took like a kitchen cleaver and just extended it about 2 foot, two and a half
Yeah.
foot long. It's so janky, but like I said, I brought it up. The only reason why I kept it was because where I've moved to, we do have bears and mountain lions, and so I was all like, okay, I'm gonna go buy a shotgun, and I was all so when I was moving, I was all, I'm just gonna keep this just in case because at least as hard as it might be, anything I hit with this because it is sharp.
Mhm.
Anything I hit with this, the weight will take a chunk out of something. So at least the
Right.
bear will remember me
Oh,
after he
no.
eats me.
Yeah, because, they never go mad and just, go on a killing spree when they've been maimed at all. But, uh, no, it's not a bad idea though. Like, in case of a total collapse of society or a zombie apocalypse, it's always a good idea to have easily maintainable, durable edged weapons around, and there are good reasons for that. Number one, the biggest reason for me is that my axe, I have an axe, a hand axe. It's got a helmet spike on it. There's no reason for it to have a helmet spike on it. It's not like I'm going to run into a French soldier from like 1400s anytime soon, right? But it has one. So that's like in my zombie prep kit, right? But you know what my axe doesn't do that guns do? It doesn't run out of ammo.
That's very true.
You know, it doesn't. I don't have to carry extra shit to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand if a gun's great if people are at a distance, but you close that distance, a gun's practically useless.
Yep.
Because if somebody's inside your thing, you have to get that gun pointed at them. And how many times are they going to be able to push it away or reset your, push your hand to a different direction? You can't use guns in close combat. If somebody has a knife and you're up close, they're going to kill you before you get to shoot them.
That's why I have a machete and a gun.
Right.
Machete gun.
Yep. I keep a kukri as well, which is a weapon that is standard issue with the Indian military over in India. I believe it's of Indian design, the particular style of blade, and its sole purpose is to maim your opponent. That's all it's for. It's got like this weirdly curved blade that can cut like 6 different ways, and by cut I mean mangle, because they're not that sharp. It's like a hatchet, but with it looks like a knife. It's a wonderful tool. You can chop wood with the fucking thing. That's all I'm saying.
He's out there. Screw the axe. Kukri time.
Yeah. Well, they're both light enough that I can carry both. It's not that big a deal. One of my brothers, I told this story last night in a business meeting too. So one of my brothers went walking down the street in the town that I live in years and years ago, and he had 2 katanas, a wakizashi, several throwing knives, and an odachi strapped to his person in full view. And I think he might have had a pistol on him too. And so a cop sees him walking down the street, armed to the fucking teeth with all these hand weapons. And he stops him and he goes, "Son, are you looking for trouble?" And my brother looks at him and he goes, "No, sir, I'm looking to stay out of it." The cop's like, "Carry on then," and left. Because here it's, we believe that the right to bear arms includes all arms and not simply firearms.
Yeah, I think here in California, I think the law is any blade above like 6 inches is considered illegal, and you can get busted for. So yeah, because we used to have pocket knives. I didn't go anywhere without pocket knife, but that was because my grandfather and my dad, after him, they both carried them around as a tool. That's what it's for. You need a pocket knife because you never know when you need to cut like a rope or something like that. So it just kind of
the same reason I carry one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was never for like, oh, if somebody messes with me, I got, weapon. It was always just like, I need a tool with me in case I need to, clean the shit from under my nails. And stuff. So I always had a pocket knife with me since I was a kid. But yeah, you always had to make sure that, you never had one above that thing. Cause the dickhead cops, if they catch it even the littlest bit above that, they'll take your knife and they'll fucking give you a ticket or bust you just because you're dicks, type thing. So
yeah, and it's got to be like a folding edge, and it's got to be below like 2.5 inches, and it's got to, there's a bunch of rules about that. They had a lot of the same rules in Colorado when I lived there too, which is why I was surprised that even here in Wyoming the cop let the odachi go, because an odachi is a 5-foot oversized, overweighted anti-cavalry katana.
Random question. Totally off topic. How many pillows do you guys have on your bed?
I mean, 2, but that's just because they're so beat to shit that they're pretty thin.
Okay. Devil?
1.
Okay.
Same. I have 1 beat to shit pillow. I've had it for years. It's broken down. It's not even like fluffy all the way across. It's like 4 chunks of fluff that have separated in it, but it just fits my neck perfectly. So I don't want to
Okay.
replace it.
Would you say 6 is excessive?
For a
Yes.
girl, no. For a dude, yes.
Yeah, for a girl, yeah. Girls can have 30 pillows if they want, but yeah, guy, no, I've never seen a guy with 6 pillows.
Okay, yeah, because I'm getting ready to head out to go to my job, and then I'm like, oh, I need to make my bed before I go out so I can, like, come back home, shower, and then hop in. And then I was like, do I have too many pillows? So that's why I wanted to ask. So I have 6. So that's the amount that I have.
So you decided to ask a couple of dudes.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to get a dude perspective as well. That's why I'm like, are you guys normal or bougie? And it sounds like you guys are normal.
When I was married, I had more pillows, but that was not my fault, or nor could I do anything about it.
Girls, like I said, girls can have as many pillows as they want. The bigger question is, how many stuffed animals do you have on your bed?
I don't have them on my bed.
You got one of those like corner hammocks for them.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that eventually. Like I said, I'm rearranging my room, so pillow, and a couple of other plushies here and there. So yeah, I would like to have a little corner for them.
My first girlfriend had 32 plushies that she had on her bed. It was ridiculous.
I mean, I'm okay with like maybe 2, but 32.
And she wouldn't let you take them off like by knocking them on the floor because you're like, oh, okay, let's go to the bedroom type thing. No, she needed them taken off and set in a particular order in the corner, and then she wanted the next day when you'd make the bed, she'd want you put them back on the same damn way. I was like, why? Never got it, never will.
She bougie, that's why. She a baddie. She a real one.
It's 100% certified bad bitch.
Real bitch, that's why.
At least she didn't name him. At least she wasn't all like, that's Mr. Fluffles or some shit, but still.
They only name the body pillows, man. Same as Dermy.
You get all jealous of the body pillow. It's me or him.
Well, at the end of the day, there's only one of us she cuddles up with, so yeah, I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, he gets the responsibility of cuddle. Me, it's like, okay, I'm done. See you tomorrow. He does the hard work.
That's good. We have some people in chat just showing up here a little bit ago. Saw Abomination AJ. Welcome, man. Good to see you. Yeah, I think I caught it. No ideas. I think I missed Jack Tarlad. Sorry, man. I did see you, but I did not bring you up and acknowledge your existence like a decent human being. It's a good thing I'm an eldritch god, unconcerned with the opinions of mere mortals. I don't know. That was dumb. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know, but regarding the Odachi thing, so basically it's an oversized katana, right? And it's not sharp. I mean, it's sharp enough, but it's not like, you're not going to be cutting fucking silk with this thing, right?
Yeah.
It's designed to cut the legs out from underneath an opposing samurai's horse as he charges towards you. Or conversely, if you're on a horse, you can lock it in with your saddle horn right about neck height and just like ride through the crowd.
I've seen those. Yeah, like I said, you're for a function of cutting a horse's legs, great. But yeah, exactly. I don't know if any practical purpose you'd want something that big to fight in.
Yeah,
like actual
for close quarters combat, they're practically useless because they rely almost entirely on their size and their weight. And when you get in close, right, that your whole advantage is neutralized. You saw Seven Samurai, right?
I believe so.
The Kurosawa movie, yeah,
I believe I have.
So, Kikuchio, the crazy guy who's always following him around, and he's got that big ass katana. That's an Odachi.
Yeah, it's like, what's that? Claymore. Like
Mhm.
like the I don't know if it's Irish or if it's English,
Scotch.
but that real Scottish, that really big one, like you see in Braveheart type idea. Yeah, it's the same purpose. You want, yeah, it just loses all its functionality the second you get in close enough because they can't get a big enough swing. Because with that kind of
Mhm.
sword, the only way you're going to really be able to use it is by drawing it back far enough, and
Yeah.
yeah, is so
And you use its weight to carry you forward, which I got to tell you, man, trying to cut a tennis ball out of the air with an Odachi, if you miss, I mean, it's a tennis ball, it's not going to fucking slow you down that much, but the sword will carry you around a few times.
yeah, you almost have to spin with it.
Yeah. Well, if you don't want to end up landing on it, yes, you do have to spin with it. You know, yeah. See, Shadow, that's just another example of the various. Well, Zweihander is a little more nuanced than that because that term gets applied to a lot of different kinds of swords that require two hands for the handle, but aren't necessarily like the massive things that you're thinking of. But yes, yeah, everybody's got their big ass weapons that are only good for a minute, and then you got to throw away for something smaller and faster.
Yeah, you if you get a good swing and somebody's in the way of it, they're gone because there's just no blocking it.
Mhm.
If you have a big ass sword like that and you swing it full strength and somebody puts up another thing to block it, chances are that sword that you're swinging is going to knock whatever they have back and hit them. So it has
Right. And you're looking
its
at blunt
benefit in
force
that.
trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, at the same time, like I said, you get in close, you're just screwed. So it's just like with any weapon, there's the pros and cons. Where you know,
Mhm.
with a big sword like that, it's hard to stop if you're swinging. You're gonna
Yeah.
get, you know. So
Yeah. You know, I mean, I suppose it depends on your build as well, and the style of the weapon itself, and all that. Like my personal favorite is one that I call Man Opener because I like puns. But it's a nagamaki, which is like a short pole arm or a regular sized katana with a really long handle. The handle is the same length as the blade,
jeez.
but it looks
Let me
like a
see.
sword with an extended handle because it basically is. But and so you use that differently than you would like a katana. You almost have to treat it like a quarter staff with a pointy end.
Yeah. It would give you a lot of control because
Mhm.
when you have one hand farther up, one hand back, you'd get a lot of, push behind that and a lot of maneuverability. But at the same time, when you have a long handle like that, it hits you. You have to
Yeah.
use it to the left or the right. You can't hold it in front of you like you do a katana because the handle's just too long. You can't maneuver.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'd have to learn like there's also with weapons, there's always a learning curve. You have to
Mhm.
learn how to use it, and because the weapon dictates how you can hold it and the ways you can use it. So it'd be
Yeah, when
learning
I
curve
when I
on
was
it.
17 years old, I knocked myself out cold with a weighted combat bow, a weighted combat staff. It had tapered ends for more aerodynamics, and it had an iron core. And as it turns out, with the staff, like with the nagamaki, like what you're saying, you have to pay attention to both ends.
Um, if you could have, let's say right now, you were just thrown in the middle of battle with knights, right? Fully armored, head to toe. What weapon would you pick?
Hmm. Like you're talking like medieval chevalier kind of stuff, where they're full on
Yeah,
plate armor.
yeah, full play armor.
Probably a maul because the plate armor is going to slow them down. And thing about armor is it'll protect you from being cut and bruised on the outside, but it does not protect you from blunt force trauma. So something big and heavy like a maul.
Yeah, like I could get down with like a Morning Star type situation. Something
Mhm.
that yeah, because that's exactly it. You
Or you can get
swords. uh,
thickness.
I didn't hear what you said.
Sorry, it's okay. I'm just weird and I'm just weird. Ignore me.
She's all like, "Stop talking about weapons, God. This is so boring. Let's get back to
No,
talking
no,
about
it's not
school."
boring. It's actually quite interesting. I'm learning a lot, but because you said like get on, and then I followed up with you can get down with the sickness. Like I said, I'm just weird. Ignore me.
Wah.
Oh, wow.
Get down with the thickness.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stop that right there. But yeah, no, that's you generally you gotta keep in mind what you're up against as well. Like you were saying, Devil. It's if you're running up against like say Ninja, for example, right? Ninja wear a lot of light, loose clothes, right? It allows them freedom of movement, but they're also fairly unarmored. I mean, they might wear like gauntlets or something like that to help, um, in hand-to-hand combat and that sort of thing. But yeah, generally they're not wearing a lot of like heavy gear. And while that light armor or the light clothing allows them to be more agile and swifter and all that stuff, all you got to do is poke them once with a poison dagger. Really.
Well, that's usually the way they like to do it. Like the idea of ninja, like in pop culture, is very different than the ninja in like the real
Mhm.
world. Like they were trained almost like actors because the best way to kill someone and get away with it is to blend in. So a ninja would look more like a farmer, and that's why so much of their weaponry is based around farming equipment. Like
Are you
they
talking
have
about the stuff that came out of Okinawa, like the sai and the kama?
yeah, like stuff like that. It's meant to look like farming equipment because that's exactly it. If you're trying to try to kill some wealthy shogun or whatever the hell they call the upper class people, you want to look like a farmer. So when they're out riding their horse, they don't suspect shit till you literally just jump up there and cut their throat.
Sure,
And
sure.
so yeah.
It was to my understanding though that the like for instance, like you're talking about farming implements, that the sai was in fact a farming implement, not unlike the three clawed tiller that we use in gardens or that
Yeah,
sort of thing. And the
it
kama
was all
was it was a scythe for like harvesting wheat and rice.
yeah.
Um,
And
and
they took them and then they changed them just enough to be more functional. Like the side that they use usually I think has that chain on the end with a little metal ball at the end, and that's so they
like
can
the
swing it.
Kasura kama, yeah, those things are
Yeah,
nuts.
throw it. Yeah, they can throw it around a sword and then pull the sword away and then slice you across the gut with it. So yeah, they took farming equipment and simple equipment that no one would suspect, and they changed it to be functional for whatever purpose they needed. And so yeah, it wasn't some guy who's going to sneak across rooftops and come through your window and cut your throat while you sleep. It's going to be that farmer who's like, "Hi," and then the second you turn your back, he jumps on your horse and slits your throat and then takes off with it.
Yeah, or your cook who prepares your food is probably
Oh
going
yeah,
to use
big
like
on poisons.
ricin or something.
Given
Yeah,
the history of the United States, Japanese have always been sneaky.
Sneaky.
yeah. But it was I guess what I was getting at was that those weapons weren't invented by Ninja for Ninja. They were invented by the Okinawans, who were treated as a second class, almost the way that Taiwan is being treated by China right now. And they were outlawed from arming themselves and defending themselves. So they started to learn ways to defend themselves that did not involve conventional weaponry. It's also the birthplace of karate, which literally means open hand. Uh, and that was because they were told by the ruling class, the warriors, that they were not allowed to defend themselves in any way, and so they learned how to do different stuff with what they had at hand, and that's how you get things like the sai and the kama and the kasura kama and that sort of thing, which are now recognized as weapons. But at one time, their antecedents, I guess, were just farming implements. Now the ninja obviously made use of those the Iga and the Shoga in particular. But yeah, there's a school of ninjutsu today in Japan.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they're
it's
very open about it.
because it's just like with samurai. It's an art. It's like a something you have to learn and practice at and stuff. So yeah, they still do it, even though obviously I doubt they're out there killing people too often. But yeah, it is still practice, just like with samurai.
Mhm.
There are still people who practice this like samurai code and all that stuff, Bushido and all that.
Yeah.
And
What's interesting is that while there is only one grandmaster of ninjutsu, recognized grandmaster of ninjutsu on Earth, he's the guy who runs the school. He's very old. His top 2 students, one of them is Japanese, but the other one is a 6'6" Scotsman.
Beverly Hill Ninja.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But it's unusual because not only was this particular art usually very insular and kept within families and not passed on to just anybody, but they also they taught a foreigner, a gaijin, a white one at that. No, so I just thought that was interesting because he's considered, he's not a grandmaster, obviously. There's only one of those, but he is considered one of the top practitioners of ninjutsu on the planet. As
I don't
far
think
as
you should insult his hygiene. He might have really, really good hygiene.
yeah, well, I don't know. He's Scottish. No offense, drinker. He knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, but the old clans, the mercenary clans that used to hire themselves out to the merchant class, and prior to them to the shoguns and the shogunate and the daimyos, they have practically vanished from, like, I mean, they're considered a myth even by people from Japan, because nobody's seen any of them for hundreds of years. To be fair, it is the art of invisibility, and if you found your whole lifestyle was going the way of the dinosaur, in order to survive, you'd probably adapt and blend in, right?
Yeah.
Either that or they all killed each other. Who knows? So, but I think the guy who runs the school, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I think he claims to be a descendant of the Iga clan. Which, yeah, the rumor has it the Koga and the Iga were the two like main rival clans of the 9 clans or whatever. And the rumor was that the Iga one day just wiped the Koga off the face of the earth.
Jeez.
So Japan's got a long and bloody history, folks.
Oh yeah.
That's all that shit that they were doing before the Second World War when they got crazy.
Yeah, before they started drinking sake and dive bombing into ships.
Yeah. But yeah, now there's some. I think, in my opinion, I think that while I believe that everybody in the world should be armed, and I do believe that, I think that the Second Amendment right should be extended to every citizen of planet Earth, because I think we'd become a lot fucking more polite as a people, as a species, real fast, if everybody was armed. But I don't think it should be restricted to firearms. I think, yes, firearms are necessary, and yes, we should have them available and with us, just in case. But I also think that there should be some hand-to-hand or edged weapon martial prowess as well. I think people need to learn to fight without guns. I think that everybody should be a swordsman, frankly.
I think it's just like anybody. You should, just for your own protection and a discipline of it. Yeah, everyone should try to learn some sort of self-protection.
Yeah, and not just for the self-defense aspect of it. I mean, there's that's a benefit of it. But any martial art is like, it's steeped in discipline, and discipline can serve you in every single aspect of your life. But you got to learn it first, and martial arts forces you to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that we could all benefit from being more disciplined, and it's a good place to start. Plus, it gives you practical skills that may come in handy at some point. But I also think that people forget about the second half of the phrase martial arts. These are art forms. And if we don't pass them down, they will be lost. And I think that's a shame.
I agree.
Hey, Bernie. So yeah, it's just I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. And obviously, by the way, while I am a swordsman, I am not a good swordsman. So don't take my words with a grain of salt on this, because I'm not. I am not the most skilled. I'm okay. I would probably lose in a fight, but I would probably be better than your average person who's never picked one up before. Yeah.
Yeah. I may know a little bit about weapons, but yeah, if somebody picked up a sword, I'm running the other way. I'm not.
Yeah, if you back me into a corner, I will fight you. I will probably lose, but I will fight and die in glorious battle. Valhalla, here we come.
I'll threaten to sue you and see if that works.
Ain't suing anybody if you're dead.
I've got a very good lawyer. You put that sword down.
And I'm getting out my phone. He's on speed dial. Good shit. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of feel like we feel like we're winding down a little bit here. It's apologies to the chat. I didn't really have a lot of topics prepared. I just kind of winged it. I winged it last night too. It was kind of one of those things. So we will tomorrow for Star Trek Engage. We will actually have topics as well as jokes. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's a whole lot of places we can go with this particular topic at this point. So we can probably wind down. I think you're going to be on Skinamax tonight, right?
Yeah, I got Skinamax tonight. But tomorrow, except for the game stream, late night, I'm taking tomorrow off. Essentially, I have to take my mom somewhere.
No worries. Family first, man. Always. That should always be everybody's first thing, first priority. I know that there are people out there who think that I should put the gods first, but no. That's, you want to do that, that's fine. That's on you. I'm not doing it. But yeah, no, family first. Family comes before dicking around on the internet, definitely. And all that. But yeah, so we got I got a thing I'm probably going to be doing over on Amir's channel tonight too. Exiled Lioness 2, for those of you who are curious, who have not been there. If you are not very political, it might not be the place for you. It is a political channel with some cultural stuff, but usually with a right-wing bent. So be aware of that. If that's not your thing, no worries. I don't know if you knew this about me, Devil, but I'm pretty fucking far right.
I in fact am too. Yeah, like I said, I don't consider myself a Republican. I don't really have a home politically, but yes, my political views are far right. Not to the point of what
goose stepping.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's good, because that's far left anyway.
Yeah, but I believe government should stay the hell out of most things.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's funny, because as we get along and we get older and stuff, I find myself agreeing more and more with libertarians, little L libertarians.
Yeah.
And it irks me, because I've spent so many years making fun of libertarians for basically being polite anarchists. Because I don't get their whole thing. I do agree with them on a lot more as I get older, though, and it's driving me nuts. I think government involvement should be minimal, if at all. I believe my property is my property. I don't believe I should be taxed for something I already fucking own and paid off. The main thing that separates me from your average libertarian is that the Libertarian Party has this thing that they espouse called the non-aggression principle.
Real quick, before you continue.
Before I continue, what?
Oh my God. Okay. Before you continue, Samuel, I have to go.
All right. Well, try and beat bop your way through your outro.
It's behind my closet. Yeah, you can find me Without You on Twitter and on my YouTube channel. With you. I don't know what's next week's gonna happen. I know Dames and Dorks on Thursday. That is definitely happening. But yeah, just follow me on Twitter and I will show what I'm doing.
To keep you posted, and her YouTube channel link is in the description below for those who don't already have it.
Yes, thank you. All right, guys. Well, it was nice chilling. It was good conversations hearing you guys talk about weapons, but
have a good night, Nomi.
Have
Thanks
a nice
for coming.
night. See you.
Fuck was I saying?
Libertarians.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the non-aggression principle is. I'm not a pacifist. I have never been a pacifist, and I will die not being a pacifist. I cannot get in line with guys who are like, oh well, somebody comes along and they decide want to take my stuff. I mean, they're infringing on my rights, but if I strike back, I'll be infringing on their rights, so I can't do that. I was like, fuck that. No, you put them down hard, and you put them down so hard they can't come at you again, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not all about this. Oh, they attacked us, so let's put sanctions on them. No, fuck no. Glass
No,
them.
you don't put sanctions on them. You put their head on the front fucking gate.
Yep. That walk softly but carry a big stick idea. Yeah, I'm all about that. You know, I don't go out there to pick a fight, but if you fuck with us, I'll damn well finish it.
Hell yeah. You know, and that's my main gripe with little L libertarians. Big L libertarians are just as bad as the fucking Republicans and Democrats, if you ask me. But
yeah,
you know, but it's all corporatized. You know, hey, throw money our way so we can, you know, say we're going to help you out and actually help ourselves. That's all that shit is. But I never really got into the non-aggression thing. I don't get that. I don't understand. Human beings are violent by nature. Yes, you can choose not to start shit, but it is in all of us.
Yeah. That's why I don't agree with them. Is because they want to close down all the foreign bases, pull all of our soldiers back here, and act like the world doesn't exist outside of our borders. That just doesn't work. Because if you do that, you're never going to know who out there is planning to come and start shit with us. And we're too big of a target for us to do that. So
I get what you're saying there, but I kind of agree a little bit with the isolationism. Thing is we are
party now.
Yeah, I know. We are still one of the most militarily and technologically advanced societies on Earth. I know that there are others that are catching up or trying to and all that stuff. Obviously, like in terms of tech, South Korea's got us fucking outstripped by leagues. There are a number of rivals to our military might on the planet Earth right now, just in terms of nuclear proliferation alone. However, we are in a supremely defensible position. It's not like we're in fucking Poland where anybody who wants to can just walk in.
No, I agree, but the problem we have is it's like with World War II. We didn't want to get into it. We didn't want to get into it till Pearl Harbor. That was where the success of Hitler came from, is that everyone was so sick and tired of fighting after World War I that when the Nazis started pushing out and taking land and taking countries and stuff little by little, no one wanted to confront him. Nobody, and England did the same thing. They stayed out of it till he literally came to the shores there, and then it became a problem for him. When if he was confronted before he started that shit, we'd have probably saved a lot of lives and saved a lot of trouble. It's the same thing with that. We can put our head in the sand and say the stuff around the world doesn't really matter to us and who gives a shit. And at the same time, China would be like, absolutely. Don't, you just stay in America and don't pay attention. And what would they do? They would take every single country that they feel some right to or that would benefit them. And next
they're
thing
already
you know, you would
doing
have
that.
but they would a lot quicker and with a lot less blood spent to do it. They would conquer as much land as they could, and if they're essentially a competitor to us right now militarily, we have an upper hand because of our navy, but they are second to us. They are the ones who are the biggest threat. If you give them the ability to take all the land and all the countries they want, get manpower, get more materials, they could be a threat to us. They would never take our land because that's what nuclear weapons, everyone's all, oh, the Russians will shoot off a nuke if we sink a ship. No, the only way a country's going to shoot off nukes is if you try to take their homeland. If you try to land in Russia and take Russia from them, they'd probably shoot off nukes then. Same thing with China, same thing with the United States. So it's not like they would conquer us, but they damn well would try to take away even more of our ability to protect ourselves and stuff like that. I don't want that threat out there. I don't want
to. I can kind of see that, but the problem with that is that there's always going to be a threat. It may not always be China, but there's always going to be a threat, and at some point, right? We're looking at it right now. Right now, we're spread too fucking thin, trying to police everybody else's fucking business. That is costing us as a nation. Sooner or later, we're not going to be able to maintain this level.
Oh, I don't think we should police everybody. Only stuff that affects us, like stuff that could someday come and land on our shores, like the proliferation of like the Chinese expanding their empire. But yeah, I don't think we should be the world police by any means. If there's a conflict between two countries and we have no stake in it, let them solve their own shit. It ain't our business. I'm out of it. Just like with the Russia-Ukraine thing. We have no business either way. We do get a lot of grain. The world gets a lot of grain from Ukraine, but Russia will start making grain if they took Ukraine. So it's just not our business in my mind. So yeah, I mean, if there's an ally of ours that we have teamed up with, I think you got to have your friends back. And so I do think, but us literally having to be the military for the whole world is a ridiculous thing, and I'm tired of it. But yeah. I just don't think we should close down all of our foreign bases and pull within our borders and stuff like that. I think we need our hand out there so that we can know what's going on. And if something does pop off, we have we can get there quick enough to make the, first hit.
No, I kind of get that. When I talk isolationism, obviously, I'm not interested in policing the world either. As far as I'm concerned, the rest of the world can go to hell. I mean, they seem hell bent on it anyway. Let them. But in terms of our nation, I want to close our borders north and south. We have two massive oceans that make assailing us on either side an impossible feat without us knowing first. We have so many things in our favor and our defense. And as far as like trade goes, or as far as like allies goes, everything that we trade for now, everything that we get imported from other countries now, we can and have the means and the resources within our own borders to produce ourselves. We do not have to trade with anyone else. We do not have to be reliant upon anybody else.
Well, we have to bring a lot of the manufacturing and stuff back here because we obviously we can.
Agreed.
But like with our medicines, China makes most of our medicines still, even after the coup. Before the coup, like 99% of our stuff was made over there. We have been pulling that back, but yeah, we would need to like get to it. Same thing with computer chips. Taiwan makes most of our computer chips. We need to start doing that ourselves too, because those are a necessity in the modern military to have the ability.
I agree, and that means that we need to start educating our young people in actual practical vocations as opposed to this bullshit like I'm going to be in HR forever kind of nonsense. That's of no use to anybody. But learning how to make those chips, that would be of use.
Stop giving out freaking student loans to people who want to learn lesbian literature studies of the 1700s and start teaching them how to fucking build a goddamn, circuitry board.
We need people who know how to operate and maintain nuclear power plants. That's a big thing coming up, because most of the people who still know how to do that are dying off because they're old. And there's nobody there to replace them. We do have nuclear power plants that are operating in this country today.
We should have more, a lot more.
There are going to be more, but the problem is if we don't have people who fucking understand how to build, maintain, and operate them, we're going to be in a lot of trouble down the road.
Oh yeah.
And so we need that sort of thing. We need obviously tradesmen of all kinds. Like people talk about, oh well, everything's so crowded and there's too many people. I was like, you've obviously never been to the middle of this fucking country. Like we can build for centuries and not fill up this country.
It's kind of fun. We're almost in the same position as the Star Trek episode The Cell. They went underground and they concentrated on expanding their brains and completely forgot how to fix their own technology. We're kind of in the same thing where we're seeing here and we're concentrating so much on all this other shit. And the simple things like being able to put a cabinet together, a kid these days probably couldn't figure it out to save their life. And I'm part of that too. Like I said, like when it comes to cars, I suck. My father can fix anything with a fucking engine. My grandfather, the same thing. All my uncles, the same thing. Me, it's all foreign to me. So I'm not trying to sit here and say like somehow I'm still, this like, I can put anything together and shit, but I can figure it out because I got enough common sense, But kids these days and which I hate to say because it shows how old I am. But kids these days, they couldn't fix their way out of a fucking bag,
No, they couldn't. And that's been a bit of a problem. They're so concerned with their feelings and their pronouns and compelled speech and draconian fucking commie implementation of interpretations of the First and Second Amendments and all that shit. That's what they're focused on, and that is not going to serve our country long term. Because sooner or later, and they understand this too, sooner or later, you and I will, and everybody in our generation and above will be gone.
Yep.
And they will be left to fend for themselves. And if they don't know how to fucking do it, we're looking at the end of our nation entirely. It'll devolve into like roving city states of cannibal mutants and cyborgs and shit. Although to be fair, there is a bit of an appeal in that for me, but it's not good. I think we need to start focusing on our own nation and our own youth and the education of our own people. Building back our infrastructure, bring fucking factories back to Detroit, revitalize our industries again, get Americans excited about innovating and producing again.
Yeah. Well, the problem we're having with that is the left is adamantly against that. Not only are they all for the globalist idea and all that crap, but also they want kids to be perpetually offended. They like the look at me, I'm the most important person in the world attitude that kids have these days, They're vested in that as the way they're gonna win votes and everything. So it's we want to have that happen, but it's like we're fighting against half the country that is adamantly against that. It's hard because that's exactly it. You ask a guy, what do you want your son to do? Well, I'd like to teach him how to work on cars. I'd like to teach him stuff like this. But they want your kid to say, oh, my dad doesn't know shit. He's just an old fogey. I'm going to go to this college and listen to this professor because he's so smart. And and so it's real hard to fight against half the country that's pretty much walking into making us completely vulnerable in our future.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm reasonably smart. I have in certain areas an inordinately high amount of skill because those are the things I focused on. In a lot of other areas, basic fucking areas that I really should have focused more on, like for example, vehicle maintenance, like you were saying. I'm only now learning stuff because it's become necessary for me to do so. You know, but I really should have learned this years ago so that I didn't have to spend so much time trying to figure it out and I could just take care of the thing.
Yep.
You know, yeah, Clue. College is poison. College is garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Also, forgot to say hello to UA. Jumped in the chat, and I think he was calling us ungrateful sons of bitches because we're, you know, Yanks.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So I don't know, man. But I think that if we withdrew, at least politically, and in terms of trade from the world, and focused internally, it would do this country a world of good. That's how we got to be the greatest in the fucking first place.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think that we would, even if we didn't come back out and reclaim our spot as, like, you know, top country ever, it would do our country and our people a world of fucking good.
Oh yeah. It's as awful as it would be, and the amount of lives that would be lost. It's almost time for another big war, because what that did, like World War II, it unified the country. It made us stronger. We obviously, by us building more, us the industrial side of America growing and stuff like that, but also patriotic wise, right? You know,
Mhm.
as awful as 9/11 was, who didn't have an American flag in their yard after that happened? You
Muslims.
know? Yeah. But yeah, like and you know the old adage that or saying, uh hard times make hard men make soft times, good times make soft men, like, you know, so it's
Mhm.
like a cycle.
And soft
It's
men make hard times.
Yeah, and then and so it's almost like we're in that position now, that we're getting so damn soft that it's like almost time for like some big conflict to start hardening us up again and making us, you know, start appreciating all we have and not sit there and bitch about pronouns, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's I think that hits the nail on the head. And I don't know. I guess my whole thing is I'm America first. America is my nation. Ukraine is not my nation. Israel is not my nation. Palestine is not my nation. No offense, UA. Great Britain is not my fucking nation. You know, I'm not Canadian. I don't care about them. I'm not Chinese. I don't care about them. I mean, obviously, to an extent, I care about people to a limited extent. I mean, you know, I care about people I know a lot more than people I don't. Let's be real. But, um, but you know, my nation must come first, or it will fail. And I think that doesn't matter where you're from around the fucking world. Anybody out there who's listening to this, your nation must come first.
Yep.
Or you will not have one.
Yep. And yeah, I don't get the sentiment of not loving your country anymore. You don't have to love your government, but you should love your country. And you know, if I had to, even though, like I said, I am by no means a fighter or anything like that. If somebody landed troops on this land, I'd pick up my gun, I would go out, and I'd start killing sons of bitches, and I wouldn't give two shits about it in
Yeah,
Minecraft.
because it's your land. You know,
Exactly, because
it's your country, it's your nation. You're defending your own, and I have no issue with that either. I absolutely would. You're talking like a kind of a Red Dawn scenario.
Yeah, like I, as corny as it is and cringe, I bleed red, white, and blue. You know, I'm all about America. I hate the government, but the people, what this country stands for and everything, I'll stand up and I'd die for it in a heartbeat. You know, and I think I just don't get this new mentality of that you should hate your country, you should despise America because it's not perfect. What the hell's that about? And so, yeah, it just sucks that a lot of the biggest threats to America is coming from within, just people who don't care about this country. They live here, but they have no care for it.
Mhm.
It just is really sad.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that's the difference, between, for lack of a better, less divisive term, us and them.
Yeah.
It's for any of y'all bleeding heart liberals out there who want to open the borders and have like dudes in dresses reading to kids, and all that shit. Like the main difference is I know that you wouldn't stand up to defend me, but I promise you that should I be able to, and you were in danger of being wiped out by a foreign aggressor, I would stand up to try and defend you. I may fail, but I would try, because you're still my people. You're still Americans.
Yeah.
And I recognize that, even if I think you're all a bunch of dipshits.
Yeah. While they're sitting there yelling at us, you guys are so racist and shit. We're all okay. We'll go handle the threat. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and if on the chance that we're the ones who get handled, I mean, you guys might want to pick up a gun and figure out how to use one.
Yeah. Pay attention as we're doing the fighting to protect this country, because if it all goes to shit, those crappy blue-haired land whales are going to be the ones who have to. Actually, chances are what they'll do is just be like, we surrender. We want to be you.
Yeah.
Teach me Chinese.
See, Clue, I get that sentiment. I get that. But, this is my country and they're my people, even if I think they're retarded people.
Yep.
So, Zillage says, here's an easy way to explain it to the simple. If a sick doctor were to treat a sick patient, wouldn't you want him to get well first? I would. Yeah. If you're sick and you're trying to cure somebody else's sick, everybody's just getting sicker. That's a good way to explain it. Shadow, quit trying to find analogs and reason and sense in the face of eldritch horror. You're kind of missing the point. And Richard L. come in and said, spot on. That's what the soft lefties will never agree at. They don't really have the will to defend anyone. They are the submissive people to begin with, hence the disintegration from within. Yes, I agree with all of that. But I guess my larger point is that while I know they would feed me to the wolves, I would try to prevent that from happening to them.
Yep.
So I don't know, better way to put that. And I'm probably, I don't know how coherent I was about it, but so, but that said, yeah, America, fuck yeah, America first. If I were Chinese, I'd be saying China first. Well, if I were Chinese, I would be saying Ping Pong Tong. Or the People's Democratic Republic of China first, I guess. I don't know what the
to be honest,
commie name is.
If I was born in any other country, I'd be like, I want to be American.
Well, see, and that's like, give us you're tired, you're poor, and unwanted and all that stuff. I mean, that to a degree, I agree, but it must be legal. It must be channeled properly. It can't just be willy-nilly, because then all hell breaks loose, as we're seeing.
Yeah.
And nowhere in there does it say, give us your ungrateful bastards waving their own goddamn flags.
I guess what I said is I don't know if I could substantiate that, because the reason I feel that way is because I value the freedoms we have so much, and they mean so much. But I guess if I was born in a country that didn't have it, it's like, that saying, you don't miss this light if you weren't born into it, if you never saw it, type idea. So maybe if I was born in China and I didn't know, what First Amendment was and how it, important it is and all that stuff, maybe I wouldn't. But knowing what I know, any other country I was born into, I'd be like, I need to get to America as quick as possible.
Yeah. Or here's an example, like Shadow being a virgin has no way to miss sex because he's got no basis of comparison.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
He's never
can't sit
tasted
there.
of the fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was mean, Shadow. I'm sorry. I apologize. Sad Shadow.
Your big brother's picking on you.
Yeah, well, that's what we're for. So, yeah, you would never know what you'd miss till it was gone. But if you never had it in the first place, you wouldn't even know that you should miss it.
Yeah. Like yeah. If you've eaten something, you can tell what it tastes like. You can, and so yeah, you're gonna miss it when you don't get it. If you've never had it, you have no comparison. It's somebody says, "Do you miss chocolate? What's chocolate?" You can't feel those things. So yeah,
Mhm.
people who live in a society that doesn't give them freedom at all. They don't have the freedom of speech, they don't have freedom of travel, they don't have a freedom to do any of that stuff. They're not going to know what they're missing. And so
China is an excellent example of that. The Chinese people, the average Chinese peasant hasn't been free in 5,000 years, not since the first emperor built the
Yeah.
wall. They have not been free in that entire time. The monks today are descended from people upon people upon people who do not know what freedom is. The problems arose in the last 40 years or so when the Brits had to give back Hong Kong because the Brits gave the citizens of Hong Kong a taste of what it was like to be a freer society. And so when they tried to reintegrate, that did not go very well.
No.
But your average Chinese citizen was sitting there like, why the fuck are these guys getting so upset?
Yeah.
Because they don't understand it, because they're a broken fucking people.
I was talking to Kenzo last night on the pub about because he was talking about how they don't have necessarily freedom of speech in Canada or in England. It's not absolute to them. They have freedoms, but they can still be in prison for offending somebody.
Well, that's because they don't have rights; they have privileges.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, we have our First Amendment, but if we didn't have that and we were trying to get it, we would end up no better than what Britain has and Canada has. We got it because we were built on it. We had it ingrained when we first established we were a country, this freedom. But if like today, if we didn't have it and today somebody brought that up and it went to a thing, do you think the government would let us have freedom of speech to the level
No,
we do?
absolutely
Hell
not.
no.
Absolutely not.
That's the reason America has it when no other country truly does, is because we were founded with it when it was there from the very beginning. Otherwise, we would have no chance of having it. And so that's the thing is like you're talking about with China, is even if somehow they were able to get out from underneath the CCP and get some sort of more freedoms, it would never be to the level America has, and which is why
No.
we need to protect it so much, because if we lose it, you may never have another country that's as free as this country. It's
Right.
just
And you're right about the China. Like the Chinese wouldn't know what to do with freedom if they had it.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. The first thing they'd want to do is they'd want to be comfortable again. So they'd look for someone to tell them what to do.
Yep.
And they'd impose another dictatorship in one form or another almost immediately.
Yep. It's just like when you had George Washington. After George Washington was in there a couple years, they wanted to make him king. They said, we want to make you king. No.
And he said, did we not just fight to get rid of kings? No, I'm not going to be your king.
Yeah.
And
they wanted to fall right back into what they were used to.
As I understand it, he agreed to be president so they'd stop asking him about being king.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and he was right. We got rid of kings for a fucking reason.
Yep.
And that's just, I don't know. We can't lose sight of that. And that's the other thing that leftists tend to mistake, and people who are not from the United States and did not grow up with the same shit that we did do not understand, is that our amendments are not rights granted to us by the government. Our amendments are there to prevent the government from taking action against those rights. The rights are innate. The rights belong to all of us, but we have it enshrined in a constitutional document, a block preventing the government from taking those rights from us. And that is the thing that is lacking in all the other countries. It's not that you don't have those same rights. Those rights belong to all men. They're innate to who and what we are, but you have nothing in place preventing anyone in authority from infringing upon that, whereas we do.
And it wasn't that's the thing, it wasn't given to us by a government. We fought for it and we made it. And that's why I say I don't think it'll happen in any other country, because a lot of those countries, they already have their government, and the government will never give you complete rights, because that takes their power away, and you're never going to have government give up power.
Right.
Never.
And we were in a unique position in history anyway, as a new burgeoning nation in a new land, separated from our overlords by an ocean. Like the conditions were just right to make this country happen. Whereas a place like Australia, also very remote, and cut off from the head of state. But they were a penal colony, and we also don't have giant flightless birds that can outthink a machine gun. So there's that.
The great emu wars, they will never end.
Yeah, and Clue's right. The Second Amendment in particular protects our right to defend ourselves from, and this is where they're always talking about, it's like, you don't need that to hunt. You don't need that for self-defense. Bullshit, we do. That amendment is enshrined specifically to allow us to protect ourselves from our government. And all other aggressors, but specifically our government.
Yep. And what Lou says is absolute. That's exactly it. Us native born Americans, we're some of the first to forget how important the Constitution is, because being born right into it, we take for granted. Like, how many youths now are fully willing to surrender these things, these rights, these privileges that we have being born in this country easily. Like, if you do, they've been doing polls and stuff, and I think like almost 50% of Gen Z, or whatever the hell the gen we're in now, are fully willing to have restrictions on speech. They're willing to give up the First Amendment just like that. No problem. Like, that just floors me. Or the Second Amendment, same thing.
Man,
take my guns. Go ahead.
Even something as simple as using euphemisms on YouTube, right, is giving up by inches your First Amendment rights. So like, you use euphemisms, you censor yourself a little bit here and a little bit there until it becomes normal, and then you do it a little bit more over here, and eventually you wake up one day and you can't say a damn thing.
Yep.
I mean, no offense, Jeremy Hambley, but quartering I know you want to not get like booted off and all that shit, because it's like 90% of your income or whatever, but you've been playing that game for years and they are still coming after you. What's that fucking worth? That's all I'm asking.
Yep. Yeah. It's just, it's sad that it seems like we're fighting, against, like I said, people who are just willing to surrender it, and it just makes no sense to me. I just don't get there, because I'd fight for every single freedom, even freedoms I don't necessarily use day to day, like the First Amendment or the Second Amendment. I would fight for every one of my freedoms. I'll fight for every one of my freedoms, every one of my, if it cost me my life, I'd be fine with that, because I'd rather have that than surrender them, and for some peace. Like, to me, that's the same as that whole, I'd rather die on my feet than on my knees, than live on my knees.
Live on my knees, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like, I mean,
Benjamin Franklin said something similar. I may be misquoting. This might have been somebody else, but I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said something about that too, about how you can have security and safety, or you can have freedom, but you cannot have both.
Yeah.
they're mutually exclusive. So, and like Luke Astley's saying here about Nicaragua and Venezuela, you might not know this, Devil. I don't know that you've met Lou, but she's Nicaraguan, I think, by birth, and grew up in Venezuela during the communist revolution there.
Yeah.
And she got out. She got out. She's here in the States now, but she's it was she's got a pretty harrowing story about it.
Yeah. And she's 100% right. They take away the first thing a government, before they take away your freedoms, needs to do is make sure you can't fight to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's why they want to take the guns away. It's not because, we don't want kids shot in schools. Everyone is on board with not wanting that to happen, right? But they want to take your guns away because at some point when they want to enforce their fascist bullshit on us, they can't have us fight back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, protect every freedom you have. Just never let them have an inch. Never give the government a damn inch, because they'll take 6 miles.
Every time.
Yep.
And they'll never give it back. Anytime they acquire any little bit of power, it's theirs for good. You're never getting that back.
And they want, and people ask, well, why are you against magazine? They're not magazines, but you know what I'm saying. Size. Why do you need 1,000 bullets? Because if I give them that, if I say, okay, fine, you can control how many rounds I can have. You can control how many, how much my gun can hold. If you let them have that, that's just the foot in the door. That's not their plan. They don't care about that. They care about taking the gun away from you completely. And so the way they're going to do that is inch by inch by inch. They're going to deplete the Second Amendment little by little by little till they have it where they can take every single gun from you. It's not where they start with a law or where they start with a new thing they pass. It's where it's going to end. And it won't end till they've stripped you of that right completely. They take away one word. They say, you can't say the N-word no more in public or you'll be arrested. It's not going to stop there till they take away every word they want. And that will leave us silent.
Mm-hmm. Well, speak now, or forever hold your peace. I think that holds more weight now than it has ever held at any wedding.
Yep.
Shout it from the fucking rooftops if you have to. Say what you like. Say what you mean. Don't give a damn who's offended by it, because they should be offended. Offense is good. That means they're feeling. It means they're thinking.
Yep.
For the first part, and the second part is like offense is a choice. It's always a choice. Things don't offend you. You choose to be offended by things.
Yep.
But yeah, no, maybe people should be offended. Maybe they should be shocked into out of this complacent bullshit that we're lying in. Go out there and say whatever's on your mind.
Yep.
I speak the way that I do because I want to speak the way that I do. There have been times when I've tried to find better alternatives to what I was trying to say. Sometimes for eloquency reasons, sometimes because I was trying not to piss somebody off that I was on panel with or whatever. And I don't see those as unreasonable necessarily, but the second that you're right, the second that they tell you you cannot say this word ever, that word is off the table. It's off limits. No more. The second that you concede that, then you've already given away too much.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm ranting now. Sorry.
I think we've had like a 30-minute political rant here. It went from one thing to another.
It's good though. I think these things need to be said, and that's one of the reasons that we tagged this particular podcast here. We talk about whatever the hell we feel like. That way, we're not boxed into any one thing. We can talk about Kenzo's bullshit tattoos. That I don't blame him at all for. I blame his artist for. But or we can do a bit of a dive into Second Amendment rights and why they should apply to everyone on Earth.
Yeah. You guys in the chat, you don't know this, but Samuel's running for president and I'm VP. So vote for us.
That's right. I have chosen my my vice president. It is in fact the devil.
Yes.
So, because the way we look at it is why choose the lesser evil.
Yep.
Like go whole hog or go home.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's good though that we can have a space where we can talk about anything. We're not boxed in by algorithmic crap. I mean, by the way, this is why the channel's only in the 230 some odd subscription range, because I do get throttled a little bit because I don't stick to one subject.
Yeah, they don't know where to put us.
Yeah. So but yeah, we do talk about this, and like I say in the disclaimer in the chat, we are just people talking. We're not experts in anything.
Yeah.
So Beelzehub channel, that it's just Beelzehub on YouTube. I'll let me pull the link up and I'll drop it in the chat for you. That is Devil's channel. He does fun streams over there. Here he comes to get his serious shit on, but he does do some fun stuff. He does some serious shit over on Vets Talking too, actually.
Yeah. I do all my serious shit on other people's channels. I do all my opinions on games and movies and everything on other people's channels. You come over to Beelzehub, it's about either the pub, which is about chilling, or
if you had to eat somebody, what kind of wine would you pair that with?
A nice Chianti.
See, but that's the kind of shit you'll find on Beelzebub. So it's worth it. It's a good time. He does a show called Get Ranked on Sundays that is a lot of fun. Random topics over there too, quite a bit actually. Beelzebub, which you just did this morning at the in the ass hours of the night. Or early morning for UK time.
Yep.
And then you occasionally you do something with Dermy on there too, don't you?
It was supposed to be D&D reviews, and we were gonna do movie reviews. I wanted to do older movies because the newer shit sucks. But Dermy is also a flake, along with being gay. He's gay and flaky. So it's pretty much died. We did one thing, and then every time I brought it up after that, he's like, "Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it." And so I don't know if we'll ever do that. But as my channel grows and I get more subscribers, I have many ideas for many fun kind of shows. I'm going to do a bracket war type one. I've got one called Pissing Contest that puts two YouTubers head to head, kind of with the audience deciding who won type situation. It's all these ideas and stuff I want to do, but I'm going to do them as I grow. So when I get to like 200, 250 in subscribers, that's when I'll do the next show, and so on and so forth. So, if you like my material, you like what I do over there, get people to subscribe to me so we can continue make more.
Yeah, I even made a little what would you call it, a little PR video for your channel the other day.
Yeah, because I'm so bad at promoting myself.
Yeah. It's the video, but for the record, is just me making fun of how bad he is at promoting himself. It's that's all it was. He hates it, but I made him play it on his channel the other week. It's really funny. You can find that on my channel under the video links. It's the one where Devil's face right there, the Danny DeVito one, got spliced to Eeyore. Richard L, I did see it. I did see the second trailer. I believe I posted a link to it in my community tab. I can't fucking wait. Have you seen that shit, man?
I haven't seen the second one, but that's actually one of the few movies I'm excited about. That one and Iron Claw, that biopic of the wrestling family. Those are the only two movies right now that I'm like excited about seeing. So
Zilla just seen the video. Yeah, no, I'm really excited for Godzilla minus one. When was the last time that we got a really serious, solid Godzilla flick out of fucking Toho?
Oh god.
It's been at least 20 years, at least.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
been a
that
long time.
yeah, the last serious one they did was fucking that one with the ever evolving Godzillas. It was really weird.
Oh, Shin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't Shin
Yeah, Shin
Godzilla or
Godzilla.
whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the last one they did. And Shin Godzilla is fucking amazing, but it is a weird movie.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I like the one they made here in America, I don't know, 8 years ago now. That one
Legendary
was
Pictures?
yeah, the one where you don't like even see Godzilla till the end of the movie. I think they were trying to
Mhm.
do like a Jaws thing. But that one and the King of Monsters, wherever the second one, were okay. I didn't like Godzilla versus Kong. I thought that was, at least not that much. I mean, it was okay, but it was nothing that great. So yeah, I'm excited to have Toho back on it and them rebooting it. I guess because I think that's what it is. Isn't it like a complete reboot of the thing?
Oh yeah, they're going back to like 1954 with Godzilla being the enemy.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it again because I used to get fanatical. Like Sci-Fi Channel would have like where they'd have like Godzilla Weekend and they would show like 20 of them, and I would sit there the whole time watching every single one. I love the old Godzilla movies, so I'm really hoping this is good.
Yeah, it looks it's definitely back in the hands of the people that it should have been in the first place. And like I like the legendary movies generally, but they're not the same. Like you were saying, throughout Godzilla King of the Monsters, you see more of him in King Kong versus Godzilla or whatever that remake than you do in the other two movies combined, because there's always a building in the way or smoke or somebody's head pops up while they're screaming or some shit like that.
Yeah.
There's never a clear shot of the kaiju.
Yeah.
And the problem that I have with that is the only reason I go to see a Godzilla movie is to watch them stomp on people or kick the shit out of each other. That's it. I don't care about the human interest stuff. And the legendary movies, they hyper focused on the characters of the people underfoot, which I think doesn't matter because they're going to get squished anyway.
Yeah. It's all about the family and how they've grown. And no, fuck that. It's about Godzilla.
Yeah,
Throw
or
the
it's like
family off the cliff.
yeah, it's like that. What's his name? Bryan Cranston was in the first one.
Yeah,
and he was good in it, but you could cut pretty much all of his story out, and it really wouldn't affect much of anything.
Yeah,
and that's and you could do that with like huge sections of each of those fucking movies, right? I think the only through line that they use at all, aside from Godzilla himself being in all three of them so far, was when they used what was left of Ghidorah to power Mecha Godzilla in Kong.
Yeah.
By the way, I just spoiled everything. So if you haven't seen those movies, sorry.
Yeah, somebody's all like, "God damn it, I was gonna watch that this week."
Yeah. But that was really the only through line, and Mecha Godzilla comes to life because it gets taken over by the living, beating like leftovers of Ghidorah, who still fucking hates Godzilla. Especially since Godzilla ate one of his heads and basically turned the rest of his body to ash.
Yeah, and you know that they're gonna make another one of that. I'm sure.
Oh no, they're already in the works. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm wondering if they're gonna go full space, like they're gonna bring the other space monsters in from some alien race, bringing them down, because is that where they're going with it?
I don't know. I think they're gonna end up having to. It depends on the deal they cut with Toho, because originally they only had the rights to Godzilla himself. That's why in that first movie they're fighting those Mudos or whatever, which are completely
Originals.
different things. I mean, they're basically big glowy cockroaches, but In the second one, they got rights to use a few more, but not all of them. So, like when you see all of the Titans awakening all over the place, all of them are not from the Toho movies, except for Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra,
Yeah.
which are the only ones that they got rights to.
The spider he's from it too. Because there was a big spider in the original Godzilla they had.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
I mean, maybe they called it by a different name. Maybe that's the thing. But there was a big arachnid.
Right.
I remember.
I remember one of them was a big fucking woolly mammoth.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah,
like,
with big arms.
I was like, oh yeah, that's okay. Well, that's kind of dumb, but I mean, then again, there's Gamera, who's a giant turtle with rockets for legs. So I guess
remember
there's
that one.
yeah. They Netflix just put out a new Gamera anime, and I kind of want to watch it, even though they have a shitty track record with that sort of thing.
Isn't that the one that like literally spins around as it flies through the air?
Yeah.
Like it's like a frisbee. It's like
Yeah. So, but I have hopes that Toho will keep this shit up and we'll start bringing back like more classic monsters. Like, I'd love to see Megalon again, or Space Godzilla, or Gigan. You know, that'd make my goddamn day, honestly.
yeah.
So, but just for this one, if Godzilla's gonna rampage through Tokyo and fuck it up because he's being the villain, right? I'm all on board with that. Totally on board with that.
Yep. I'm like I said, I'm gonna go see it, which is for me is hard because I live like an hour away from my theater, so I have to really want to see a movie to have to, drive all that way, take an hour there and back, and make a day of it practically. So yeah, but I do want to see that.
Yeah. Clue says he hasn't been excited about a cinema movie since Infinity War. I think maybe I gotta lower your standards a little, buddy. They're not all gonna be 10s. That's all I'm saying. I was super excited to go see Monster Hunter. Yes, it was dumb. It was still fun. I was super excited to go see Cocaine Bear. Retarded as fuck. Still a blast. Yeah, it's all about what you're into, I guess. I went to see the Batman in theaters, and I was pretty bored.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that was. It had things I liked about it, but like the whole third act was a waste of fucking time and didn't need to be in the movie.
Oh yeah, that's exactly it. The first part was good, but yeah, after they caught him and stuff, and that whole flooding of the city part was just like, sorry, more spoilers. Yeah, I was just sitting there going, oh god,
Yeah,
they could have ended this.
They should have ended the movie after the conversation and not flooded the city. That should have been the end of the movie. That should have been an epilogue.
Yeah,
but it's fine. It's fine. It was okay, I guess. And I liked Dune. It was very pretty. That's all I'm going to say about it. It was very pretty and long. So but so like yeah, like I don't know, lower your standards a little bit. Maybe get into some offbeat stuff. Oh, don't tell Dermy I did this already, because I did make that deal with him the other day. But I did start watching the anime One Piece. I'm about 4 episodes in, and it's hard.
Oh yeah, at first it is. Because at first I don't think he knew exactly what where he wanted to go, and the characters sussed out as far as the anime went. But it does really open up, and it ends up being just a really good anime. Like so, but yeah,
I hope so, because right now it sucks.
Yeah, at first it is a little rough.
Yeah. So no, Zillage, I was just kidding about that. I like Dune. I like the story of Dune. My beef with Dune, aside from the fact that they spent way too much time focusing on extended special effects shots that did not need to take up nearly as much fucking screen time as they did. Right? Yes, it's pretty. I get it. Let's move on with the fucking story, please. Is that they picked a random location to split the story in half. Right.
Yeah.
And some of their casting was not ideal. Frankly, Zendaya should not be in serious movies for the most part. Should be, you know. Um, I don't have an issue with her in general. I thought she was really good in what was that? The Greatest Showman. I thought she
Oh
was great
yeah,
in that.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. And you know, I don't have any issue with any of the casting in that, but she was not the right person to play the character that they hired her for. She's not a good Chani, and she should
Yeah.
not be in Dune. Timothy Chalamet is only good for young Paul Atreides.
Did you hear Lethal's thought on Timothy Chalamet?
I did. I heard all. I was there for a lot of that.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, I heard all that.
Yeah.
In essence, chat, Lethal Lightning said that he would want to be a Hollywood producer solely for the ability to molest Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. If Timothy and Zendaya came in, he would find a reason for her to go so he could be alone with Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but
because why else would you be a Hollywood producer? I guess. Yeah. So, but no, I liked Dune. I just don't think that the casting of the main character and the love interest were good. I think that some of the other casting was excellent. Stellan Skarsgård as fucking Baron Vladimir Harkonnen was a stroke of goddamn genius. You know, but I'm also pissy about it because the second part was supposed to be out next week, and it got pushed back to next year.
You know, I'm not as big a Dune fan as I am about other sci-fi kind of IPs, probably
Mhm.
because I never read the books. So, but I do agree with you that I don't like Zendaya, but I don't think she's that great of an actor. I think the girl's pretty, but there hasn't been a single movie aside from Greatest Showman that I outwardly thought she did a good job. I hated her as Mary Jane. I hate just every single movie I've seen her in. It's like she just ain't that good.
I'm gonna Kenzo myself here. She was all right and Shake It Up on Disney Channel.
Oh.
I have
So
daughters.
where do you have your tattoo? Where do you have your tattoo?
I don't. I have kids who made me sit through that shit. So I had to find something to enjoy.
But yeah, no, I'm just not that big a fan of her. And you see her everywhere now. She's, there's certain girls that they're really trying to push, and so you're seeing them in every single movie, even if they're not the greatest actress, but an actor too. Same thing with the actors.
That's how it always goes, though. Like there's always like one rising star that gets cast in everything, and then a few years later they get forgotten.
Yeah, and I miss the generation of good actors because man, we had some really good actors. Like none of the actors you get nowadays are Robert Duvall or Tommy Lee Jones. They're or Morgan Freeman. They're not even in the same pool as those guys. And yeah, it just is sad because
No, you're right.
those guys used to be able to take those roles and become that person. That's why one of my favorite movies, even though it's not really a movie, it's a miniseries, is Lonesome Dove. Because if you've ever
really?
seen Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones' portrayal of Augustus McCrae and Woodrow Call, they are those characters. You feel that is them. They embody them so much. And you just don't get that from actors anymore, it seems to me.
I get behind that. There are two actors that I can think of who can take on any role and become that role. And when you look at them, you see, for the most part, obviously, Gary Oldman and Johnny Depp are both excel at becoming their characters. And I often compare both of those men to a man who came way before them in Hollywood, Lon Chaney Jr., who was known as the man of a thousand faces. And he was known that because he also could become any character. you know, and he'd get lost in the performance, and you get lost in it with him, and you just don't get that. I mean, it comes along once, maybe twice in a generation, and the current generation are suffering from the same problem that every single other industry in this country is that they are hiring young people based on feelings and check boxes, and not on whether or not they can actually do the fucking job.
Yeah.
So it all comes back to the commie shit, man. Always. God damn it. Commies go home. Just get out of my country. I just don't want you here anymore. They'll find a way to ruin picking your nose. You know, so but yeah, it's Robert Duvall is a very, very good actor. And Tommy Lee Jones, in some roles I agree with you on him. In others, all I see is Tommy Lee Jones. You know, like I don't know, when he did Two-Face in Batman Forever.
I can agree Two-Face was not that good of a but I don't think anything in that movie could have been that good because it was getting so diluted and so campy at that point, those Batman movies.
Right. But I do agree about that. Like, in general, Tommy Lee Jones was a fucking great actor.
Yeah. He yeah. Like there's others. Like I said, it's not just them by any means, but just that generation of actors. Just really, there was something about, you know, I don't know how we lost that or why we lost that, but yeah, it just you don't see them as good anymore. And
so you like Westerns, right?
I do. I appreciate more that I've gotten older. Like when I was a kid, my dad used to watch Westerns all the time. And I'd just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch whatever else is on, anything else. But yeah, now put on a John Wayne movie, put on a Clint Eastwood movie. I'm like, yeah, I'm into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Me too. I'm getting there myself. Good night, Richard. Did you happen to see a more contemporary Western came out, in 2016 called Hell or High Water?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't know if I did.
It's got Jeff Bridges, Chris Pine, and Ben Foster in it. And Ben Foster and Chris Pine are brothers who are robbing banks, and Jeff Bridges is aging U.S. Marshal trying to put a stop to him.
It sounds familiar.
If you haven't seen it, you should. It's fucking excellent. It's a
what's
very
it?
underrated movie. Hell or High Water.
Hell or High Water. I'll write that down. Check it out.
It was really good. I surprised the hell out of me. I'd never heard of it before, and I found it on, I think, Hulu at one point, and I was just like, it looks kind of interesting. I sat down and watched it, and I know people give Chris Pine some shit, but that dude can act.
Hell and High Water. Yeah, I like. It's funny because some of the newer Westerns aren't too bad. A lot of them, because they've kind of relegated themselves to the same place as horror movies. You have a couple really good ones come out, and then they just flood the market with a bunch of not good ones. And Westerns have kind of gone the same way. You have ones that come out that are like gems, and they're just so good. And then you have a bunch of other ones that you're like, generic story, nothing special, And so yeah, Westerns have become kind of like horror movies in that way.
Yeah. And I think I heard Razorfist talking about how he thinks that Westerns are going to make a comeback in the coming years. I think he's right.
Oh, they definitely can.
Yeah. I think they're going to make a comeback. They're going to fill that gap where Capes movies are kind of tapering off a little bit.
Yeah.
Chris Pine and Denzel in Unstoppable, that was a hell of a movie too.
Yeah. The reason that Westerns have gone into the same genre, that same thing as horror movies, is because it's two genres of movies you don't need hundreds of millions of dollars to make.
Right.
You can make them because you don't need CG. It's a Western. What are you going to CG? And so you're able to just go on the story. If you have a really good story, you don't need that huge budget, and that's why I think they've kind of gone the same way. where you can, throw them out there for 20 million and hope they make, 60, 70 type thing, and you'll make money. So yeah, I think that's probably why. But like I said, you have to have a good story, and so you have to find the gems in there. But when you do, like I said, a good Western is a fucking awesome movie. I felt that way about Open Range. The first time I heard about that, I wasn't really interested because I was all, oh, new Western, yay, great, they're gonna suck. And then I watched and I was all like, God damn. And it's because one, Robert Duvall, but also because Kevin Costner, another great actor. And so yeah, so yeah, you just have to find the good ones. But when you do, they're awesome movies. I love Westerns.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I didn't like them when I was young. I found them boring and trite, and I didn't really get into them because I don't think I fully understood them.
Yeah.
But the older I get, yeah, you're right. The more I appreciate a good Western. Conversely, the more I kind of hate bad ones.
Yeah.
So, it is a bit of a trade-off, but yeah,
it's just like the Roman Empire. You don't start thinking about that till you get older and as a man, and then that's all you can think about.
I only think about it because everybody else is always talking about it these days. I don't understand what the big deal is. They were an empire. They were one of many, all of which fell to degeneracy. So like it's like, oh, well, the heyday of the Roman Empire, they did all this great stuff. I was like, you realize though, I hear this from Christians more than I hear it from anybody else. They're like, remember the Romans, they did all this cool stuff. And I was like, yeah, but they did that when they were still fucking pagans.
I just love that it's become this huge meme. That it's become this huge meme off that one girl's post, and now everyone's doing the same joke. And I'm all like, God damn it, that's what memeing's all about. When something that's innocuous is some lady, writing a thing about how, or putting out video how upset she is that her boyfriend thinks of the Roman Empire or whatever shit, and it becomes, everyone's heard of it and talks about it. So I love that.
It's just like, girls like, oh, hey, honey, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? And he's like, I'm thinking about him right now. Well, what about? And he starts detailing like aqueduct architecture, and it's like, I mean, okay, I get it, but I don't know. I think that people, I firmly believe that we should learn from and understand and remember history. I do believe that because, as they say, you're doomed to repeat it if you did not. I think we're doomed to repeat it anyway, but whatever. But I think that people are spending far more time worrying about an empire that is dead and gone rather than the one that is falling before their very fucking eyes.
Yeah.
No. So I don't know. I'm sick of hearing about it. I really am. It's mostly I'm sick of hearing Shadow talk about it. That fucking kid. He loves the Romans. So, all right. We have been going for almost 3 hours. We about an hour ago we were looking at maybe wrapping it up, and then something got said, and Devil and I have been kind of ranting and raving ever since. So here we are. It's been good though. It's been good conversation. I liked it.
Yeah, we better give our outros before we come up with another subject and we're here another hour.
Right. You wonder why you're everybody's favorite person to fucking stream with, dude. You're really easy to talk to, for one. So no, but it's good stuff. But yeah, so I want to say thank you to the chat. Thank you for being here, Devil. Where can people find you? Even though we did this once already.
Yeah, yep. Beelzehub. It's underneath my name here. A little hard to find, but keep at it. You'll find it. Subscribe and check me out on all the shows we talked about.
The link is in the description below. You can find it there. It'll take you right to it. Hot link works just great. Yeah, for my part, you missed Nomi with if you're coming in now, you may have missed Nomi Without. She was here earlier. Her links are also in the description below. She just dropped a new video last week, and she's doing a joint program on, I think, Thursdays with a bunch of other ladies where they swap around on different channels. I don't know exactly what their schedule is, but it's worth a watch. And all that. Everybody else who didn't show up today, fuck you. I mean, You know, you can find their links usually in the description below as well. It's holiday time. People are starting to do things. So, but thank you all for coming. You can find me here on this channel, do Abyssal Musings on Fridays, Screaming to the Void, this show, the flagship show, on Saturdays, and Star Trek Engage on Sundays, which will be tomorrow. We have 2 guests tomorrow. Damned if I can remember who they are off the top of my head. Well, that's embarrassing.
Admiral Tug, I think, and
Teague.
Jed the Hollywood Teague, and
Yeah.
Jed the Hollywood Scholar.
Yes. So we will have 2 guests tomorrow. We're also going to be missing a few people tomorrow, but that's okay because they're on an away mission, and they'll be bringing back valuable Orion slave girls.
Oh yeah,
that'll make Anna happy. And other than that, later tonight, you can find me on Exiled Lioness 2. That is formerly Lioness Exiled. She just changed the name. It's the same channel. I will be in the chat, definitely, probably behind the scenes on her StreamYards. And if she does a panel, most likely I'll end up on there at some point. So otherwise, yeah, same shit, different week. You know, like, subscribe, do the things. I don't usually ask that, but maybe share the channel out a little bit, get the word out. I think we have good conversations here, and I think that I don't know, I've been doing this for a little over a year. I could use some growth. But all that said, chat, thank you all for being here, for listening to us rant and rave, and have a good time. I got nothing else, man. You?
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.